You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
All right, hello and welcome. Welcome, all you Homestucks. We are standing in the light, and we are beckoning you to come forward, to show yourself. There's no need to hide your Homestuck pride, because here we are. Here we are, episode 6 of our continuing Homestuck podcast series. If we were a movie series, would we be Return of the Jedi or Revenge of the Sith?
Nobody wants to be Revenge of the Sith.
So we'd be Return of the Jedi, episode 6. If we were Harry Potter, which one would we be?
Half-Blood Prince.
Half-Blood Prince.
Arguably the best one.
Which is arguably the best one. Instead, we are 91 Reasons, and we are your one-stop shop. We are the beacon of light in a landscape of darkness. We are your place to gather, to wear your horns proudly, and to spread Homestuck all over the world, which is true, because we have downloads from all over the world who are listening to our weekly gathering of Homestuck information. Now, you guys went from, I don't know if we want to do this, to, hey, it's pretty cool doing this, to, when are we going to do it again, to, we have planned out the show for you tonight, right?
Yes.
All right. I am the voice of 91 Reasons. I am Jeff Tucker. I am joined by my Homestuck resident experts who are
Austin. Luna.
And you guys are here. You guys are here to continue our Homestuck exploration, if you will. Do you guys think that we're ever going to reach a point where you go, there's nothing left to say, we've said it all?
No. There's too much to talk about.
There's too much, right?
There's too much to talk about, and new stuff keeps showing up to talk about.
So there's new stuff every week. Plus it's weird because I know for a while in the podcast universe, when podcasts were very new, the most popular podcast, do you know what it was? Mm-hmm. Potterverse. It was a Harry Potter one. And they talked hours about Harry Potter. And I wondered, like, I have no idea if they're still doing it or not. I can't imagine that they are. I mean, that's been forever. Hasn't everything been said?
No. The Pottermore website, she's releasing a new little thing every month.
Wasn't there a new Christmas story that we just released?
They just did 12 Days of Christmas. Every day a new paragraph of story by J.K. Rowling. Malfoy's whole life.
So, Homestuck, Hussey keeps putting new information up.
Yeah.
And you guys are able to not only ingest and digest the new information, but you're constantly going over and over and over the old information.
There's almost 6 years to pull from.
You got to get on the mic.
There's almost 6 years to pull from now.
Now, let me ask you real quick. Is there a certain storyline or segment that seems to be more looked at than the others? Because, like, if we're talking Adventure Time, obviously the Simon Petrikov story is what everybody focuses on. Is there a Simon Petrikov element to the Homestuck story is my question.
I would have to go with Act 5, Act 1 is the fan
Most of Act 5.
Most of Act 5.
Anything after 2011, the fans are kind of about, because it was such a weird turn for the comic.
Yeah, nobody really talks about the Alpha Kids as much as they do of the Beta Trolls.
Anytime you see fan comics or people making stuff, it's either Act 5 or really early Act 6 with them on the meteor.
And what then is the storyline of Act 5 that's so compelling that you want to talk about it again and again?
Because they introduce the 12 Trolls, which are the most memorable characters.
The Trolls. And that's where this plot is still beat the video game and this pretty much just generic beat the video game at that point. The world is set up and the characters are set up and they're going on their generic adventure. And then Act 6 is where it takes the crazy turn to all the meta stuff and they start breaking the story and all that.
So if I understand what you're saying, you like when all the characters are introduced, but you don't like that, well, now we've got to do something with them. Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Most people. I like the later acts.
I like it when they break the comic, but most people do before the introduction of the characters. Mainly Act 5, Act 1, and Act 5, Act 2.
Yeah. The
Which
Trolls introduction.
Because if you're comparing it to Harry Potter, you didn't get a full introduction to all the characters until Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Until Voldemort returned at the graveyard, there was still an era of, well, who is Voldemort and what's the big deal? And then finally when he showed up, okay, now all the players are in place. And it's weird you say that because, for me, Goblet of Fire is the best of the series.
It is. The best
To
book.
me, it was the most cinematic. It felt like a complete story that could have been told on its own. After that, again, what do you do? Now you got the villain back, and he's got to come up with a new
do stuff.
new plan, right? He can't just sit around, Nagini, and not to spiral into Harry Potter, but the similarities are pretty clear as far as if you're talking Harry Potter, like book 4 is what, 2,000 pages nearly?
Yeah.
Before we get to all the characters finally being introduced.
Yeah.
Because after that, she started just doing flashbacks of
Yeah.
Grindelwald and Dumbledore as a kid and blah, blah,
Or
blah,
the
blah, blah.
Phoenix shows up and it's like 10 new characters that don't all matter that really.
They're all
just sort of
interchangeable.
there.
Well, they're there so they can die later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what the Homestuck thing was? Like they finally introduced
Sort of,
the
yeah.
beta trolls, which you guys are the most proud of,
Hussey
the most
claims
into.
He's never read Homestuck, but the act structure
never read-
really matches. He's never read Harry Potter, I mean. Hussey claims he's never read Harry Potter, but the act structure matches up so well. Homestuck is split into 7 sections, and the villain shows up right at the end of the 5th
And
one.
it's not only filled with Harry Potter references, but he sort of wrote a whole novel spoofing Harry Potter
But
directly.
he says he never read it. He
Yeah,
just
that doesn't.
spoofing the world.
You can't spoof something you haven't ingested. It doesn't work that way.
He wrote like 300 pages of Wizardry Horrible, and it's just a spoof of Harry Potter.
Then how can he say he hasn't seen Harry Potter?
He says he hasn't.
Well, he's lying.
He's spoofing the genre as a whole, not Harry Potter specifically.
Andrew Hussey is lying. That's a
We
bold
mentioned
statement.
The main villain puts his soul into different pieces of things. As
Oh,
kind of-
yeah, he's never seen Harry Potter. Yeah, and you know that John Egbert rides around on a broom. Come on.
One of the
Yeah,
things.
it's a flying horse.
One of the things people really skip.
It's a flying
over-
horse. It's a thestral.
Although it's a reference to Wizardy Herbert when he rides on a broom. It's the same panel redrawn.
Come on, you guys are nuts if you believe he's never read Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
One of the things that a lot of people I feel skip over and forget is that they directly saw the creation of the villain Lord Inglis.
Everyone has to have all these crazy theories.
Yeah,
on why he
spoiler
exists.
alert, I'm gonna say how he's created. But everybody thinks he's Caliborn grown up, and he's gonna become Lord Inglis. But we see him get created directly in the comic, and it's all a Harry Potter joke, because the character puts part of his soul into a puppet that later gets turned into Doc Scratch, which becomes Lord Inglis.
The big buff Lord English guy that everyone says, that's him, that's Lord English, the villain. That's Caliborn's soul put into a doll, and then the doll was ecto-cloned into another timeline, into sludge, and then it became Lord English. He's like an offshoot of an offshoot.
Yeah.
He's hardly connected to Caliborn at all.
You guys just stopped cold in your tracks.
Yeah.
There was a long pause of Austin going, And I'm like, you can't nod, dude. It's radio. Okay, so what do you got on the list here? The infamous Homestuck list.
We got cosplay.
Cosplay. Now, we've talked about cosplay before, but you didn't think we went into it in depth enough.
No.
And I think the reason you're into this is that WonderCon is on the horizon. It's closer now than it has been. You know, we're far from Kamikaze. We're on the cusp of a new con, and you're putting together all these costumes.
Yeah.
So what did you want to talk about? Homestuck cosplay.
Just that if you're Homestuck using cosplay, it's an amazing experience.
We talked about that. You talked
Yeah.
about how it's a shorthand of seeing people and knowing exactly what they're into.
Yeah. But at cons, it's even better, because it's not just like a Homestuck t-shirt. They're fully dressed as that character.
Now, you got recognized in your Homestuck cosplay at the bookstore yesterday.
Yeah. it
Some
did
guy was
actually.
like, "Oh my god, man, Homestuck," and I was like, "Tell him you do a podcast." You're like, "No, I'm good.
I'll
So
do that at WonderCon.
Yeah, you'll do all your sales pitching at WonderCon.
As long as you give me like some business cards.
So has the online retailers come up with any new versions of costumes or anything? Is like what's out there other than the horns and the T-shirts we've seen?
That's about it. They make the cosplay dresses, which are the full outfits. And they do that of Jade's dress and Whiska's dress.
And all the robots.
And all the robots, that's right.
Who are the robots?
Those robots in the comic.
Various. Aradia has a robot that was built her by Equius. Jade has a robot that was built by her grandpa.
What are the purposes of the robots?
They all have their own purposes.
Jade's was built so that when she dreams, the robot does whatever she's doing in the dream, so they can keep track of her in the dream world. Aradia's was built because she died, and Equius was trying to resurrect her soul into a robot so he could make out with her. It worked. And Brobot was created so that Jake could have a sparring partner on the island, but really Dirk was just spying on Jake.
Seems awfully complicated.
Just like anything else in the comic.
How do you keep track of all this in your head? Because you should know, folks, they're not using any notes.
Yeah,
they're not
no.
looking at anything. There's no laptops open and running. You guys are doing all this from just your memory, your memorization,
Yeah.
your
Read
passion
it a
for
lot.
Homestuck.
I've read the full comic about twice, and I've read some of the pages countless times reading over them.
Well, I remember when you, Luna, started reading Homestuck, you tried to get Austin in, and he was kind of a little later after you.
He didn't
So
take a week or two.
you read it in its entirety, and then you would constantly like, "Where are you at? Where are you at?" And he'd go,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, I'm at this part," and it was this constant race to finish. What was it like reading it the first time?
It was...
Because you've said you've read it multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time reading it, when I heard about it, I was absolutely not going to read this thing. It didn't look very good. I didn't like how the sprite mode looked. Because at this point, I didn't know the comic got so beautiful so later in. I thought the whole comic was just a little sprites. And I thought it was an actual comic book. They had little speech bubbles and everything. And I remember my brother was reading it, and I'm like, I'm not going to read that. So I finally did sat down with him, and I'm like, okay, what part of this thing are you at? How far has this escalated? The first pixel of Homestuck on the computer I ever saw, other than seeing the cosplayers at cons and knowing about it, the actual first image I ever saw was a pixel of Tavros, which is the Homestuck character with the largest horns in the comic. These were the ones I almost poked your eyes out with at Kamikaze. And I just, like, cracked up, like, oh my God, what are you reading? There's a guy with giant bull candy cane horns.
Remember that he was dead at the time.
Well, no, he wasn't dead. He was alive.
The first time you saw me reading was when I was reading Murder
That's
Stuff.
why. It was his dead body.
It was Tavros's dead
Yes.
body.
It was the dead body of this guy with candy corn horns. I'm like, what on earth is this? And I just walked away, and I mocked it for weeks. Like, I would always make the jokes to Big Horns, because it's the only character I ever saw in the comic, and I had really no reason to read it. Later on, like a day later, I sat down to see how your adventure with the weird bullhorn guy was going. And that's when you got to the point where WV sees John in the car.
Yeah.
And that's what's got me hooked.
WV.
Because I had to figure out what this little guy in the coat was. I'm like, that's the most amazing character I've ever seen. Also, the comic looks good. Because by Act 5, they're, oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, he's in the battlefield, so it's in color.
Yeah, comics in full color, and there's this guy in a bathrobe spraying Bulbasaur everywhere. Bulbasaur saving cream. That's when I got hooked. That's when I found out I gotta read this. So I began reading it, and I thought it was funny at first, because there's not much plot. It's just a kid trying to get the mail in the first few hundred pages.
Yeah, I remember
First thousand.
I first read it, and I read it like all weekend straight, like a whole weekend through. And I got to my friends Monday. I was like, guys, I made it all the way to Act 3 in one weekend. And they're like, you're getting there.
And Act 3 is when he gets the mail.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't get into like Act 4.
No,
right?
he started the game up by then. He just got the mail and booted the game up.
You have to explain, and I don't know if we've gone over this before, but you have to explain what is the appeal of this, because it sounds incredibly tedious.
I don't know.
It's
just,
really
it's such,
nicely written.
It's so weird you have to keep reading.
It's weird, it's funny, it has such an odd plot with such great written characters. Seriously, take your time and read through the pesto logs, which are the internet chat logs between the characters. Don't rush through them. I sort of did rush through it on my first reread, because it was just too much partway through. On my second reread, I took my time, and I really fell in love with the comic and the characters. Like, Hussey does such a good job of writing these characters.
And they all seem to be well defined with personalities.
Yes.
And you kind of know how they're going to act in situations.
Yeah, exactly.
And
There's a lot of character speculation around traits and stuff like that.
Those 9,000
Speculation
pages
or
of
head
development.
canon?
Speculation.
Speculation.
Not head canon.
Not head canon.
No head canon.
Give me some head canon.
Oh no.
Oh.
I go by the canon characters. Like when I go online onto Miss Pop, which is the MSPA wall-playing website, I try to wall-play as the most canon characters possible. I normally have pages of the comic up to reference to, or the vocabulary the characters use often.
So you immerse yourself so you can become the character.
Yeah.
Now, would you go LARPing with Homestuck?
Like live action wall-playing?
Yeah, like let me ask you this. If they decided to have a Homestuck summer camp, and it was like 2 weeks up in the mountains where everybody was going to remain in character the whole time, does
Oh
this
my
sound like
God.
something you would want to do?
It sounds like fun.
You would want to do this.
Definitely computers would be allowed. I'd like that, even if it was in the wilderness. Because
Is it in like the flarping in the comic? Because that is
Yeah.
people dead.
No, there wouldn't be any death. You might have trouble getting insurance if you were guaranteeing death at the end of the convention or the camp out.
You gotta sign a waiver, though. You may get knocked down some stairs or hit with buckets in the process.
But what I mean by that question is, when you go to the conventions and you go down to Homestuck Land, do you feel like I could just stay here forever? Or is there a point where you're like, okay, I need to get back to reality?
No. I mean, you can go... I play Gary's mod, and you can go on the Homestuck server, and it's exactly like that, basically. Now, don't get me wrong, live action is obviously a better experience, because you're talking to people in person. But it is still great to go on the Gary's mod server, because it's just like a con. Everyone's playing as the characters, some are wall-playing. Why would you want to immerse yourself back in real life?
Real life is for people who can't handle Homestuck, right?
At WonderCon, we were all playing card games while in
Yeah.
cosplay, some in character. One person was playing David Bowie on their iPod.
Weren't you playing Spin the Bottle of Faygo?
Yeah, it was Spin the Fago.
Fago.
And everyone was in character, too. It was
Growing
great.
characters playing Spin the Fago.
In character, Spin the Fago.
Why would you want to do this?
Why not?
Why not? what reason is there not to do? What else are you going to do? I mean, you run around the floor, you shop, you see the thing you like, you buy it, you go to a panel or two, but then what?
So now that you're older, and we go to WonderCon, are we going to see you, or are you just going to be, look, I found the Homestucks, I'll see you. It's Friday, I'll see you Sunday.
That's what I plan to do. I mean, it's what I planned to do last year until I got horribly ill and I fell asleep at your booth, remember?
Yeah,
I had to
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
that's the first time I've ever gone to the pharmacy that's in the con. I didn't even know they had that.
You went to the con first aid.
There's a con first aid. It's like a full pharmacy.
Wasn't Madame Pomfrey there? And she was like, here's some chocolate, dear.
Basically, really.
Skelegro.
I've got some Skelegro and some chocolate for you.
And that gave me.
He is not to be disturbed.
That gave me like the strength I need to go sopping and walk around a bit, but certainly not to go back to the meetup.
Yeah, now you got to take care of yourself leading up to the con. You got to have some orange juice and some vitamin C.
There's a lot of things I've learned that I've got to take in effect. Number one is no big props. Don't do big props.
Well, yeah, you were the dummy who wanted a zilly who, and I told you while we were making it, I told you, you're never going to carry this thing more than 10 minutes.
I'll go with more lightweight props from now on.
Big props are for cosplayers who stand in one spot all day
Yeah,
and
pretty
take
much.
pictures. You want to go out and have a grand adventure with all the Homestucks. And the last thing you need is like, well, hold on, I got to go get my zilly who.
You still gotta help me make some props, though. I have a chainsaw that needs to be painted.
A chainsaw.
Yes.
For what?
Kanaya. I don't know if it actually... I probably would cosplay the character, actually. I just want it to hang on my wall. But I've been wall-playing as Kanaya lately, and it's been a lot of fun, so I would consider cosplaying the character.
So is there ever a time during the day that you're you, or are you somebody else all the time?
I love to role-play as the characters.
That wasn't an answer.
I'm me sometimes, but I prefer to role-play.
Because you wear the full gear to school.
Yes.
Now, hey, that begs the story of which cosplay costume got you kicked out of school.
I can successfully say that not only have I been banned as Carcat from video game servers while playing as him, but I've been banned from school. Now, everyone listening to this is probably going to go, oh no, in-character cosplay as Carcat to school, it's a terrible idea, because the character is so ennui. Well, I wasn't actually in character at all. I was just dressed as Carcat, but that was bad enough for the school already. Like, I remember being in class, and the substitute who was there, because school is mostly substitutes now, because the whole Common Core thing, got the phone, and I don't know why they got it. Next moment, I was being escorted by police into a golf cart. This really happened. I didn't know what was happening at the moment. I'm like,
they're like, take him into custody.
Yeah, I'm like, what's happening?
He's dressed as car cat, and he's got to be taken out immediately.
I told the lady who was in the car, I said, what's happening? Why is this happening? And she said, you're violating the dress code. We need to go see. And I'm like, I'm violating the dress code? The horn's violating the dress code? And she explained that, sometimes it's like speeding. Sometimes you get caught and sometimes you don't. And I'm like, so I'm committing a crime while playing as car cat? Not while playing, just cosplaying. I'm a criminal is what you're saying? But then they finally took me up and explained that my sort is awful because it is a very suggestive, inappropriate sort. And I'm like, is there something wrong with the zodiac?
Which zodiac sign was it?
Cancer.
Cancer. And Cancer is a 6 and a 9 drawn stylistically on its side. So if you tilt your head and squint and have a dirty mind, it says 69.
Yes. You have to tilt it and alter the shape and think of it differently in your head. And then it's the number 69, which then if you have a dirty mind, can see it as something else.
But you could squint, twist, twirl, and mutilate anything to be dirty if you wanted to.
Really? Yes, you could.
And we told this to the school. We said, you guys are being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Straight A student, and the substitute's got a problem because he kind of thinks it might look like something.
The thing is, I was in the back of the class, and you could hardly see my sort because of a desk. He actually had to look at me and squint. He was just staring at me. It was creepy, is what it was.
It sounds like the teacher had issues.
Yeah.
Like he had some serious issues, and I can attest to that because growing up in the 80s, we had substitutes, and some of them were just the meanest people ever. Like they just did not know how to smile or have a good time. And it's like, you know what? You chose this career, pal.
Yeah.
No one forced you to become a teacher. I am sorry that you hate your job, but why are you taking it out on me?
One time we had a substitute. I know I'm going off topic here, but one time I had a substitute who got called in as a substitute because the teacher went absent and the other substitute supposed to take their place. And they're like, I'm supposed to be at home and I'm supposed to see you guys, so I already hate you guys. And I'm like, this is your job. You signed up for this. You're getting paid for this.
So you just ended up with one who was like, I don't like the way your shirt looks. I think it might be dirty.
Yeah.
So he didn't even tell you that.
No, he didn't.
He just was like, he picked up the phone.
He didn't say anything.
And he had the hired goons come escort you out. And you were like, hired goons?
That happens a lot. Whenever students behaving badly, somebody doesn't say anything. They just get on the phone and get the biggest heavy police force they can to escort the student out.
You know the new law in 2015 in California, right?
No.
You know the willful disobedience zero tolerance law that you kept getting stuck in. See, the thing is, in California, if a teacher tells you to do something or act a certain way, you must comply. If you resist in any way, you are being willful disobedient, and they can call the cops, your parents, anybody, and get you out. You're aware. That's what happened to you, right? Well, guess what? That law's no longer in effect.
Oh.
You're able to resist now. If you don't feel the teacher is being appropriate or right, you can resist without retaliation.
Because that what they did was just wrong. And I'm pretty sure they did break some law out there by doing this, because I was told by everyone I talked to that they legally cannot do that. They took my dress code away. They just took it away. Like, without calling parents or anything.
Yeah, no, we weren't called till long. I mean,
Luke had
Luna
to call.
called us
Yeah.
after the event was over. The school, and when I called about it, the school was like, we don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, how can you guys not know what's going on at your own school? You took a kid's shirt away. What did they give you to wear?
A school pride shirt that didn't fit me. It was way too small.
A school pride
It had a
shirt.
big eagle on the front.
Did you have school pride while you were wearing it?
No.
No. Because of why?
Because they took my sword away. And the worst part was when they called Luna up, they just took the sweatshirt away. They didn't even give him a replacement. They were just like, we're taking it away.
They just took my jacket.
Because
Well, what Luna said to me was, I could already tell the argument had gone on, and I wasn't going to
I already
win.
knew Austin had gone over. They were with Austin for a while, so I was like, just take the jacket. I know what happened.
Yeah, and that's a blanket statement. for you guys is if there's an issue, just comply because if you guys are right, I'm gonna fight for you.
Yeah.
And I left work and I spent all day on the phone rattling around with those guys.
They wouldn't talk to
No,
you.
they wouldn't even talk to me. We're not. It was almost as if I was asking about a Shark Tale playset. Refer to my DreamWorks episode for the story on that. We're not going to be able to help you, sir.
All this drama over Homestuck.
Homestuck has invaded your personal life and
Yeah.
had you basically thrown out of school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
it's affected-
yeah.
I'm gonna wear
it's-
my jacket soon.
It's affected my life in so many good ways, you know? It's made me more social than I ever was, and it really has changed me. Because before I was reading Homestuck, I was like a different person entirely. I was not social. I would never talk to anybody.
Would you have ever considered doing a show like this before Homestuck?
Absolutely not.
Would
no.
you have done an Adventure Time podcast?
No. Even when I liked Adventure Time, it was just a thing I liked. It wasn't I was probably going to be over it in like a week. The only reason I still watch it now is because of it's like Homestuck's weird sister.
But when you guys get hooked into something, you go full bore. Because before Homestuck, when there was just Adventure Time, you would spend all day on the Land of Ooh message boards
Yeah.
That's all there was to do.
gathering tokens or something to buy. What were you going to buy? What was that all about?
Bads.
You
Okay.
get little badges.
They
next
had
to your
an
name.
Adventure Time forum called thelandofwho.com where you can get little badges next to your name. And this caused the biggest uproar because there was a guy named Mordecai626.
Mordecai 626, your sworn enemy out of Brazil.
Yeah, he was more like a friendly enemy.
He's probably listening.
Yeah, I know. It's all.
We should say right now that you are Goont my fries.
Yeah,
Oh!
I'm still good my files everywhere. Tumblr, Steam, any website. But this Mordecai guy, when the badges came out, was like, I'm gonna have all the badges. Every single one. And I'm like, well, I also want all the badges. But the badges were limited. Some of them, there was only one. And whoever made the most first posts got that badge. I think it was the Enkai was the big one.
Yeah.
Where there was only one in the world.
You had
Some
to get, other than you could buy all these little ones for like 2,000 points, which is like post 20 times, and this was like 1,000,000, and there's only one available.
Yeah.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
Gone forever.
Wasn't there a time where you got thrown off the forums or something?
Oh, multiple times. It's happened a lot. There was a point where the competition turned into such a joke that I didn't care anymore. But this Mordecai guy was so obsessed with getting all the badges that I just created all these alternate troll accounts and kept getting banned and banned and banned.
And you had a name for him.
What?
What's that name for your enemy that you like or like? What is it?
Oh,
What do you mean?
Kiss Masis.
Kiss
Yes.
Masis.
Kiss Masis.
Now-
Quadrants.
Explain
Quadrants.
Kiss Masis.
Kiss Masis is a relationship. Okay, we're gonna go into quadrants, aren't we?
You do it. We've got a
you
half
go.
hour to fill here, man.
Trolls in Autonia have 4 types of love: Kismasis, Auspicism, Matespitsip, and the Asin
Moira
Quads.
Allegiance.
Oh, more Allegiance. Sorry, I got them all mixed up.
Tisk tisk.
More
Pussy
Kismasis.
just unsubscribed.
Look, I'd rather memorize all the leprechaun clovers, okay? Which is something we'll discuss in a later
I
episode.
can memorize
right?
that. It's purple horseshoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember all the Lucky Charms. I don't know them off the bat of my
You don't
head.
know the leprechaun
No.
charms? Those are the types of leprechaun love.
What are they?
You do a little jig to your mate, and if
Yeah.
they jig back, like, are you in Star Heart's horseshoe with someone? Are you
Yeah,
rainbow pot of gold Lucky Charms hat?
They're magically delicious.
Yes. What in the comic, one of the characters opens a door up. This is in the spin-off comic, Paradox Space. They open up a door, and there's 2 of the leprechauns, and they're doing a little Irish jig together. And the guy's like, "Oh, you two, just get like a room or something." Oh my God, not
Are they
here.
going like, cha 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 cha?
But that's considered inappropriate to them.
Yeah.
But back to troll love.
But real quick, are you upset that Mordecai guy got his own movie and Johnny Depp's gonna play him now? Johnny Depp is Mordecai.
Remember, when I was in Land of Who, I didn't know what a Homestuck was. Now, Luna here did. They created a Carcat account.
I created a Carcat account. It lasted like an hour.
1 hour before they got banned.
Were you thrown off
Yeah, I
too?
was just-
Land of
thrown right
Who
off.
was amazing because they had a feature that I think's gone from the website now. It may have been back. They lost it, and that's why.
Which one?
They had a feature that no other website has had. They had a running live chat that forever ran up. You could just go in a chat room, and any other 4 member could get in there, and you could live post, not just the
Unopposed has
threads.
that, but it's a misparp.
Yeah.
They've had that since the dawn of the
Yeah.
internet. That's why the internet was created for live chat. You're going like, wait a minute. They had this really cool thing nobody else had where you could live
Well-
chat. That's why the internet was invented, you dolt.
The thing is, Land of
Are you
Goo-
kidding me? That's why Al Gore invented the internet in 1992.
But those websites don't exist anymore. Land of Goo is the last of its kind.
What about GeoCities?
Gone. I mean, come on.
I follow a blog on Tumblr. They have all the GeoCities screen capped, and every hour they just post a random one.
Oh,
It's
for
great.
God's sake. Archaic old websites.
But back to Troll Love.
We gotta get back
Yeah,
to
gotta get
Troll
back to Troll
Love.
Love.
We've got to bring it back to Troll Love, and then maybe Cherub Love.
Mate,
But
Sprit Ship. It's the four
Card
suits.
suits.
It's the four card suits. Heart, Mate, Sprit Ship is basically generic human love.
it's when you have flust feelings for each other.
And then Diamond, which is Pale or Moira Allegiance.
It's like a friendship, but a bit closer.
Yeah, they're like platonic soulmates.
Exactly.
They help each other's negative traits. Kismesis, which is Spades, is a hate love. It's I don't know how to explain.
It's
like
a-
arch
it's a
nemesis.
rivalry.
Like a lot of cartoons do it, where the main melodrama villain and melodrama hero are like kind of friends. The
Yeah.
Verb does it. I don't know.
You're saying they have a begrudging respect for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not just like total enemies. I hate everything you do. You're like, you know, if circumstances were different, we might go out for coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
It's they're nemesis, but they end up making out in the end.
Like in
Yeah.
Mystery Men, where you're my greatest nemesis. Nemesis. And what's clubs?
That's the complicated one no one
Yeah.
likes. It's when one of the other three quadrants isn't working right. They're having a bad relationship, and a third person comes in to auspice their relationship.
But it that doesn't go in order, because if you go in the order of what you're talking about, the club should be total hate. It's love, friendship, enemies who respect each other,
Yeah.
and then it should just be enemies, hate. The
No.
other end of the spectrum.
No.
No, it's the people who help the other relationships, and it's a legitimate feeling. Like Kanaya gets it constantly. You have a
Yeah.
feeling that you need to help their relationship.
It's like a real romantic feeling that trolls have.
Yeah.
Like what, buying flowers? I don't understand.
No, they have there are four types of love. They have four types of attraction. They need love, hate, friendship, and neutrality in their lives, or they're hormonal and unbalanced.
Oh, so they're women. Okay, you should have just said that to begin with. Folks, we won't be spending any time trying to explain women. There is no way to explain women. I'm sorry. Just when you think you have a woman figured out, she will change the rules. If you take her to her favorite restaurant 2 weeks in a row, on week 3 she will tell you, I don't even like that restaurant. So yes, that is the quadrant of women. We will not be explaining that. That is no way anything that we can come up with.
That's pretty much how trolls behave.
Yeah, exactly.
The the love system is designed as a way of trolls create humans when they beat their game. So but their game was glitched. So we only took the love aspect of their biology. Likewise, when cherubs are created, which they haven't yet, we don't know how yet, but when they are created, they will only get the hate side. They can only feel Kismesis. They can only feel the hate love. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all they know.
Their way of complimenting is insulting someone. They all want to have rivals, but also pals.
But how can you have a storyline if you know from the get-go that a person's not going to change? The whole point of any epic story, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Harry Potter, is that the characters have to go through a change, a metamorphosis. They have to learn a lesson and become a different person. That's the nature of drama. If you're saying that your characters are born this way, they will always be this way, then there's no chance for change.
No, because each character is given a subplot for that very reason. It's kind of obvious, but so is everything else in the comic. They fit a specific pattern of how the characterization works. And every character has some major flaw that they have to solve. John's relationship with his dad, Rose's relationship with her mom, Dave's irony, Jade's loneliness, Roxy's drinking, Jane's niceness,
Yeah.
Jake's absent-mindedness, Dirk's splintered heart,
Hussy's lack of a video game.
Hussey's lack of love for Vriska.
Vriska?
Yeah, Hussey's in love with Vriska.
How can you be in love with your own character?
He is. It started on the forum spring. Someone asked, is Pfeffery chubby? And he said, it's a visual comic.
Because this is when Hussey finally learned about headcanons.
Headcanons happened. And someone asked him, how about Vriska? Is she chubby? He was like, yeah, she's the chubbiest of them all. Can't you see? Do you hate chubby people? Is that why there's no chubby people in your comic? No, I love chubby people. Like, Vriska is the chubbiest of them all. We're gonna get married. It'll be at SeaWorld. She'll be lifted in by crane.
He
What
really
would
said
you do
this.
if you have Vriska in your bedroom? I would get a crane to get her out.
Why do you like this
And
guy?
then
He does not
someone-
sound like a nice guy.
Someone sent to him
The best
one
one.
is someone said, "Thank you for having unique characters that are what is it? Big bone."
Thank you for
Wait.
having big bone characters in your comic. My son is big bone. It's nice to have someone for him to look up to. He was like, your son disgusts me. That's all he said. Your son disgusts me.
That's terrible. She's opening up her heart to the creator of this thing. Like, if we met Hussey, we did meet Hussey, but if he had been rude, like, I'm not starstruck by anybody.
Yeah. But
Very rarely. I would have looked at the guy and said, look, I'm going to take you out back and take a few
It's a
pokes at
joke.
you.
but Andrew Hussey and the Huss are entirely different people.
The thing about the Huss is
It's a
that
character almost.
it's a character and everything he says is a joke, but the fandom doesn't take it that way sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what things can get angry between the fandom.
But it's still Andrew Hussey as the Huss.
Yeah.
So when he says something terrible, that's like when people on Twitter go, you know what, you're a terrible human being. LOL, I'm just kidding. No. LOL or a happy face emoji don't take away the sting of the terrible thing you just said. So what you're saying doesn't hold water because it's still Hussey no matter how many layers of characters are on it. It's still him.
But then he puts it all in the comic and it becomes a story element. Like, maybe he sent those annons to himself to set this up.
Oh, that's what you want to believe. That is a big plan.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know or think that God's in control.
But the guy who sent the thing, my son sees a character as a role model, is a joke, obviously. Because it was after he went on about how he's going to get married at SeaWorld with Visco
Yeah.
with the crane. And someone sent that to us just to mess with him. This happens all the time. People make alt accounts to mess with Hussey.
Yeah.
Well, of course they do, Clown Lord.
Yeah, but when Vriska shows up in the comic, when Hussey finally gets to her, he proposes to her. And ever since, whenever Vriska's in the comic, Hussey's always drawn the background stalking her.
His own character.
His own character, the 13-year-old alien.
That would be so weird. That'd be like Todd McFarlane stalking Spawn. Like, he can do whatever he wants. He wrote and created the guy.
But he did Death of the Author, which is the metaphoric way of saying he's lost control of the story. Lord English kills Hussey, which is the way of saying he's lost control of his own writing and the characters have taken over.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
If you write the same story long enough, the characters will dictate how the storyline goes.
Yes.
I'm discovering that in my own book because there are times when I want the story to go a certain way, but you can't figure out how to make the character do it because the more you make them do it, the less they are that character's true spirit.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately, not to digress, but that's ultimately why Revenge of the Sith falls apart. It's because Padme is shown as an incredibly strong person in 2 complete movies. And then by the end of the 3rd, because some guy won't love her, she dies in childbirth. That's not the Padme we've seen the whole time. The Padme we've seen the whole time would have given birth on her own, cut the cord with a lightsaber, and continued fighting Anakin 5 minutes later. And the idea that the robot goes, she's dying, we don't know why. Well, we do know why, because the plot says she has to die, but that's not good enough. So what you're talking about makes perfect sense if the characters are so well defined that the creator himself is having trouble maneuvering the story the way he wants.
That's just not just a nonsense idea. They have a name for that. It's from some French philosophy writing where they wrote about that subject. And what's translated, they called it the death of the author in the comic, or the book, or the movie, or whatever.
And that's the point at which the characters take over.
When Lord English kills Hussey, you go to a special page it's not on MSPA. He coded it from scratch, so it's got a special border and everything. and it's mspainadventures.com/DOTA.
Isn't
Death
the
of
page
the
command
author.
called DOTA?
I think it's a bunch of question marks. DOTA is only in the URL.
Oh, okay.
Death of the author.
Death of the author. And, yeah, and then right after that, no, it was right before that, Hussey is a robot, and Lord English kills that too, and that's the saying that Duke Ek Machina can't kill him. He destroys the machine. That shows the god in the machine can't kill Lord English. So he does two big metaphorical writing things right
He's
there.
trying to show that a Deus Ex Machina cannot save the day.
Yeah, but okay, because I was saying
Yeah.
you've got that kind of backwards, because what you're talking about are the old Greek plays where the character would get into such a terrible situation that there was no possible way for himself to get out of it.
Yes.
So literally a god would come out of the sky on a rope and wave his hand and make everything better.
Yes.
And the ancient Greeks just accepted that as a storytelling device. Now we will not accept that anymore. The last time they got away with that was The Matrix, because at the end, Neo becomes a god, waves his hand, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
But you can't use that a lot,
but they
because
called
otherwise you'll be accused of copping out at the
Yeah,
end.
what they called that in the plays was, because he comes in the pulley system, they called it Duke Ek Machina, which is God in the Machine. So Hussey, as the God character, the writer, the self-insert of himself, creates a machine of himself. So he's a literal god in a machine that Lord English then kills to show that he can't be killed that way.
Okay, so yeah, so if the robot is supposed to represent Hussey in the comic in robot form, yeah, that
He's
really
the god
is
in
the
the
god of the
machine.
machine, which shouldn't be able to be killed,
Yeah,
because you can't kill God,
he did.
because
He kills the machine and then God himself.
because in either case, whether you're talking about an all-powerful God, you can't kill him, or if you're talking about an abstract God who doesn't truly exist, you can't kill that either.
Yeah.
You can't kill the unstoppable, all-powerful God, and you certainly can't kill the God that ain't there, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
But he manages to.
Right, but he's using it as a metaphor to tell you
Yes.
that this character, Lord English, is a badass,
Uh-huh.
not to be messed with, and anybody who messes with him is going to die.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that just led to so much speculation of what's going to kill him. Because it means something with value earlier is going to kill him. It's going to be Betty Crocker, or it's going to be
Stairs.
a cake, or stairs, or something we've seen.
Well, in most good stories, the villain has to be undone using the very thing that they were using to try to assert their will over everyone.
Yeah.
Because you want to tell the audience that if this guy had just stayed home for the day, he'd still be alive. Instead, like, Tarkin had to build the Death Star. And because he built the Death Star, they blew it up with him on it. Voldemort had to spend his lifetime searching for the Elder Wand, so that when he tried to take it, it would bounce back and kill him. You see, you can see the thing.
yeah.
The best stories are when the very thing that they were trying to do is what kills them. You know, the Matrix invented the machines made the Matrix to hold mankind hostage, and Neo turned it on them, the machines, and took control of it. So that's a recurring theme in the better stories. You know, look at if you look at your generation, look at Lion King. You know, if Scar had just let Simba die, he'd be fine.
Yeah.
He would have led the pride, but instead he has to go, I killed Mufasa, so that Simba can go, screw this, man, I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
My father's death wasn't, he takes all the guilt away, thereby the situation that Scar created, not only with Simba, but with the hyenas, is what is his undoing, because they turn against him. If Scar had never messed with the hyenas in the first place, they wouldn't have been there to kill him. So every great story, whether you recognize it or not, subconsciously, the greatest villains are undone. So we don't know how Lord English is going to ultimately end, right?
Because
But
we haven't seen his uprising.
right, but it has to be something that
Yeah.
he's created being his undoing. Because if it's not, then it's just stupid.
It's hard because the way Hussey's writing the comic, the whole comic's written out of order. You don't get to see certain events till later because of all the time travel and crazy stuff. We don't know what Caliborn's doing yet. We know he's writing bad anime in a vault somewhere, And later, he's a big hulking monster that was ectoed from a puppet.
We already know it's the
Yeah.
part of a soul.
Yeah, that is destroying the universe for an unknown reason. It just likes wrecking things. He's apparently looking for his sister.
And what will happen when he finds his sister?
He's gonna kill her
Oh, he's gonna kill her
again.
So there's no
Well, here's the thing.
no reason
He
for her
has
to be
goal.
found.
He's literally destroying reality. He'll zap the comic, and bits and pieces of the comic will tear off.
The reason is because Caliborn hates his sister. He killed her in the
killed
comic.
her.
And
And then-
when he puts part of his soul into a puppet, it's not Caliborn. It's just the one part of his soul that says, hate sister, kill sister.
He killed his sister. Sister was sent to the afterlife. Caliborn becomes a god. Now he wants to kill his sister in the afterlife, so she's dead. And that's it.
So he wants to go to his recycle
Yeah.
bin and delete the file he deleted, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
That
does
part of his soul does.
Does Lord English have any kind of master plan other than we know he wants to kill somebody, but that in itself doesn't make a good
He's
villain?
just flying around the multiverse, blowing things up until he finds her. But what was introduced really, really late, just last spring, is the ultimate Juju. And this is supposedly the thing that's going to finally show what he wants. All we know is he spoke to the Denizen, which is like the boss battle of the video game. And the Denizen told him, you can make a choice. You can kill me and take my power, or I can kill you and a great evil will never come to the world. So, of course, he killed the thing and took its power.
Of course.
Which is the ultimate Juju, which is supposedly going to give him these almighty powers, even bigger than the buff Lord English. He's going to be the greatest thing and destroy the universe.
A lot of people think he's
But-
going to become the linguist that we see in the
Yes.
comic,
The
but that's not
characters
true.
in the comic have figured out you can use the Juju twice. Once will make him powerful, twice will destroy him. But they finally got this Juju. It was introduced, explained, and then found within like 10 pages. And all it is the logo of Homestuck in all white. And when John put his hand through it, his hand appeared outside the comic. And then teleported through different pages of the comic.
It's some sort of device that makes you travel between the comic and in and out of the website. It's
It
a meta device.
it transcends reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that can beat Caliborn, the Lord of Time, he's the Lord of Time is his title. The only way you can beat time travel is with canon travel.
Well,
Travel
yeah,
through
sure.
space.
Because time travel's nothing if some guy can just alter reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what John's been trying to do lately. We don't know how it's going to end up.
Is there any indication as to how many pages are left of Homestuck before the chapter closes?
There's about 50 or so left in this act. The next act is Caliborn's masterpiece, and his sections aren't very long, normally about 50, 60 pages, but Halsey says this one's going to be important, so we're guessing a couple hundred this time. And then there's one more act intermission, which which
Like
is
Mars Attacks?
which are about 400 to 500 pages. And then there's the final Act 6, which is, Hussey says, just a few flashes of the final battle. And then Act 7, which is an epilogue, which is probably going to be also just a few giant flashes.
I don't think there's any ending that they could come up with that would be satisfactory to you guys.
No.
Because let's each make our prediction. And then when Homestuck finally ends, we can go back and listen to this episode. I'm going to predict that Lord English gets the Juju, transcends reality, escapes the comic book like the Aha video, right? Take on me.
That's exactly my theory.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's exactly
okay,
my
let me
theory.
finish my
I was
theory.
gonna-
Wait.
No, it's my theory first because I don't know what I'm talking about. So he transcends reality, escapes the comic book like the Aha video, kills Hussey, becomes God himself, and remakes the universe in his own image. And that's the last thing is like all the characters are now everybody's Lord English. Like the scene in Being John Malkovich when Malkovich goes into his own brain. That's it.
Everyone's Lord English.
Because if that were the case, it would be the ultimate nod to Con Air, because Malkovich is the main villain, Cyrus the Virus of Con Air, and he's in Being John Malkovich. If this is a movie, if you've not seen this, where these guys discover a portal that lets you go into John Malkovich's head for like 45 minutes. You get to control him like a puppet, and then it shoots you out onto the New Jersey Turnpike. Real movie. So Malkovich gets word of this and gets so angry that he ends up at the portal and he walks through. And when he walks through, he's in a universe where everybody is Malkovich. And he walks through this restaurant where they're trying to order food, and the guy's going, Malkovich, Malkovich? Oh, Malkovich, Malkovich. That's the ending of Homestuck, but instead it's Lord English. His final vision will be that he is Malkovich. He will walk through the portal, remake himself as God, remake the world in his image, and everybody will be going, English, English, Lord English, 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 Lord English.
Oh,
all right,
God.
I'm going on record. That's my theory for the end-all, be-all of
Hey, it's
Homestuck.
Mel's new BYB theory I've heard.
I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just know that from a writer's point of view, that's what I would do. Because imagine, here's what I imagine. You guys have read the comic. Imagine the final frames is photos of Andrew Hussey in his home working at his computer as an animated guy comes up behind him and just bashes him right in the head. And Hussey's dead eyes reflect Lord English staring at him as Lord English slowly becomes real.
God.
He becomes flesh and blood. And
Right.
Hussey's life force drains, and he becomes a Homestuck-esque character laying on the floor.
And
Oh, yeah.
Are you saying that's how
Wait.
he got the self-insult in the comic?
Yes.
That's why it makes sense?
That's it. I'm dropping the mic right there.
That is a pretty good theory.
Thank you. What's your theory for the ending?
What I'm thinking is that Hussey's going to do the rest of this act, then the Caliborn act, which is his masterpiece because he's redefined his art style. Now, I'm going to point out that he has a new art style now. He doesn't draw a bad anime. He has a unique art style because he can only draw 90-degree angles. He's figured out he can draw 90-degree angles each time in like a shape to create characters. The result looks like Take On Me. Exactly like Take On Me. And I think that's going to be a direct reference because my theory is that once we get through the Caliborn act, and then the next act, and I think the next act after that is going to wrap up the rest of the Will Homestuck story with all the current villains. And, because there's a lot of villains in the comic right now, like the Condus. That'll wrap up that story. And for the final act, I don't think Hussey's going to end it. He said Homestuck only goes to Act 7, and I partly think yes it does, but Hussey's going to break the comic. The characters are going
We're
to
never
escape.
getting to Act 7.
No, the finale's gonna be outside of the comic, and it's gonna be drawn like Take On Me. That's what I'm saying right now. It's gonna start with one character leaving the comic in a flash, but it will spread, and the finale will be entirely like on the what pumpkin side. It'll be crazy.
That's the only way it can be satisfactory.
Yeah.
Is if the end of Homestuck looks like that scene where Homer goes into the erotic cake bakery.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Is it so meta already? I don't know how you do a finale.
You
now.
transcend it.
It's kind
the
of like-
characters themselves break the prison walls of their own creation and emerge better people. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. I really hope the Take On Me was a reference on purpose.
Yeah, I think it is. It's close enough.
It looks so much like the art style, and there's so much meta build-up, because the story practically is Take On Me. That's what's going right now.
Luna,
I don't.
your theory for
I'm
the
not
end.
sure. I don't have a big in-game theory. I specialize in update to update.
Oh, I know.
stuff.
You're the minutia guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to build this big monumental ending
Yeah.
that would be
It's
full
got-
circle satisfactory.
It's gotta be an epic
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah.
It has to end with something to do with retconning, something to do with getting out of the comic. John eventually has to show up in other websites. He's zapped everywhere now. Caliborn has a DeviantArt account. There's a real DeviantArt account you can go to that is a Caliborn in character, and it's really Hussey. And he's even talked to fans on there.
As Caliborn.
So where do you go past that?
You guys have never seen a lot of episodes of Star Trek Next Generation. There was an episode.
Hussey,
wh-
okay,
Right.
before we say this, let me just point out that Andrew Hussey is the biggest Next Generation
Well,
fan ever.
try this one on. There's an episode where it's called Elementary My Dear Data, where Data, the android, goes into the holodeck and takes part in a Sherlock Holmes adventure. And he faces wits with Moriarty. Moriarty is so smart, he escapes the holodeck, takes over the Enterprise, and demands that unless they give him a shuttle and his life, he will destroy the Enterprise. So at the end, they give him everything that he wants. And they're all shocked that Picard is standing by while everybody lets Moriarty get on a shuttle and leave the Enterprise, like, to start his life in the universe, right? It's a really shocking ending because the bad guy wins. And what happens is, as soon as he leaves the Enterprise, they pull back and they're in the holodeck.
It was all
In the
part
holodeck.
of the
No, it wasn't.
simulation?
They tricked Moriarty into going back into the holodeck.
And they
what-
made a simulation in which he escapes.
Yes, so what happens, they show you a little cube, and he goes, there's enough memory in here for Moriarty to have a lifetime of adventures without ever hurting anybody.
Wow.
So I could see, like, imagine what I spun for the ending, but end it a little differently, and instead, Hussey gets trapped in Homestuck in situations that he's okay with, so he's never aware that he's in a prison. And, like, the final scenes are Hussey with Bruce Willis in Armageddon. And they're, like, fighting to save the Earth, and, like, Hussey gets to live out all his fantasies. He's also, like, he's sitting next to Cameron Poe in Con Air.
John's done that.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
John's already been in Con Air.
I had no idea. See,
Well-
I'm not the expert you are. I'm
Yeah.
simply making this up to what I would think would
John
make
can
good
only
drama.
Go to Canon MS Paint Adventures panels, but there's a panel where John's watching Con Air, so he teleports into that panel into the movie.
So it's
he
already
gets
been
to be
done.
there.
So it would be easy to do that.
Yeah, a little bit. That's in the movie, in the comic. You're talking about leaving the comic and going to the movie.
No, I'm talking about Lord English leaving the comic,
Yeah.
taking over as God, and this first act is imprisoning Hussey within his own cheesy
Yeah.
movies, where Hussey wakes up and he's Cameron Poe, like the flick sinks
Flick
in
sinks,
Ready
yeah.
Player One,
He's stuck in
except
flick sinks
you can't get
now.
out. So he's perpetually saying, "Why can't you just put the bunny back in the box?" How about that? All right. Well, I'll tell you what. No matter how Homestuck ends, and what's the time frame? Is there a time frame for when we're going to see the end?
No.
Is it in our lifetime?
That leads us into the only. Our list was cosplay and hiatus. We're finally getting to hiatus.
Hiatus.
Yeah, Hussey just sent a news update last night. As of the 19th, next week or so, he's gonna stop the comic again.
So there's no end in sight.
No, he says he has most of it written. The comic's almost entirely written done. He's almost there, but he hasn't drawn any more of the comic. So he's gonna pause it, draw the next act, and then slowly bring that act out over a few months while he writes the ending to Homestuck.
Do you ever foresee us sitting down to do an episode where we go, well, he ended it.
Maybe
Let's
like
talk about it.
Maybe like 4/13/2016 seems to be a good end date right now.
Oh my! 2 more years. 2 more years.
Yeah.
Oh, a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Year and a half. I'm
Didn't
sorry.
Hussey once mention on a news post that a lot of fans thought the end date was 2013, 4/13?
Yes. His original thing was he was gonna start it April 2009 and end it August 2010, a little over a year. We're at 6 now, and he doesn't know. He's still working on it.
Well, we don't know either. We have no idea.
2013 was supposedly the end, and
After the Kickstarter, he said that's
yeah.
when it's going to end. Remember, the Kickstarter
The
said
Kickstarter said the comic's probably gonna end next 4/13ish. We got there. That's where the day I started reading, and he made a news post saying it is now the end for a few months as we go on pause.
Well, here's what I would say. He's sitting down. He's got the end. Like, remember J.K. Rowling wrote the end of Harry Potter long before it was
and then
published.
filled in all the gaps.
Right. So he's sitting there and he's like, well, I think I've got the ending to Home. This is my Andrew Hussey voice. I think I've got the end to Homestuck right here. I'm thinking about ending it. And his wife is like, you know that the T-shirt sales made $25,000 yesterday. Well, maybe I won't end it yet. I'd hate to see this thing go the way of Lost.
He talked about that last year. He said he has all these things lined up to keep the franchise going after it's over. He's always had ideas for bigger comics, but he doesn't want Homestuck to die. So he's working on the video game, the merch, Paradox Space, and one more thing he can't say yet. And that's supposedly going to be enough to keep the franchise alive.
Well, we can't wait to see what the future holds for Homestuck as we continue our journey into the outer fringes of the internet and the Homestuck era and people and places. We will be at WonderCon this April in Anaheim. Look for the small press area. The book is my book, The Sixth Key. We will be selling all 3 copies of my books there. Book 4 is not quite ready yet, but we'll also have a little sign that says, yes, indeed, we are 91 Reasons. Austin and Luna will be in Homestuck cosplay the entire convention, hanging out, talking trivia, giving out business cards, and signing autographs, right? You have an autograph line?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be like
Pre-signed cards.
like Walt Disney. I'm gonna have pre-signed cards.
Pre-signed cards, yeah. Would you like a pre-signed card? There you go. So who knows what the future holds. We're going to try to head out to a convention next week, which is the Vintage Pinball and Arcade Expo in Banning. We have not finalized all the plans for that, but if we go, will you guys be in cosplay?
Probably.
Why not?
Oh, we got to go in cosplay. Even if it's nothing to do with Homestuck. There might be one there. So we thank you for listening. The best way to support the show is to leave us a review on iTunes. Doesn't cost you anything, and it helps our ratings go up and our numerical listings in the iTunes directory. I'm not sure how it works. I don't think even iTunes knows how it works, but we do know that the more ratings we get, the better our chance of getting featured on the homepage. You can buy my books on Amazon.com, The Sixth Key, The Lost Station, and The Infinite Backward. The fourth book in the series, The Ice Temple, will be coming next year. Homestuck is available for free on the internet. They also have merchandise through We Love Fine and What Pumpkin, which are usually at WonderCon, right?
Yeah.
What Pumpkin will be there, right?
Yeah, every year.
Every year, We Love Fine.
And
That'll be fun.
Paradox Space is the spin-off comic.
Paradox Space. If you see Andrew Hussey, ask him if he knows what the heck 91 Reasons is, and tell him from his mom, please clean up the Taco Bell wrappers in the back seat of his car. That's filthy. You shouldn't live like that.
Precious receipts.
Oh, so you don't have to live like that. You know, if you're having a gordita, the least you can do is throw the wrapper and the receipt away, okay? So, hey, it's 2015. It's a new year. It's the year of the Homestuck. We'll be doing these episodes every Wednesday night until the cows come home. We may even go on vacation this year, and if we do, we will take the computer, your laptop with us, and we'll do an episode and upload it from there to try to keep the momentum going. Because there's nothing worse than having a great podcast you enjoy listening to, and they don't update regularly. So we promise, unless something terrible happens, to update regularly pretty much until Homestuck ends and beyond, right? Because we're never going to run out of stuff to say.
Yeah.
There's too much to talk
He's got
about.
games planned for like 6 more years.
Yeah, we've got stories for years. Sorry about the clip show. That's a Simpsons reference. From the home offices here in Riverside, California, in the United States of America, I'm Jeff Tucker,
I'm Austin.
I'm Luna.
and you're listening to the show we like to call 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening? Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening? You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
Yes, From out of the shadows, it's lurking. It's coming for you. The Dark Knight. The hero that fights in the city. No, not Batman. It's Homestuck. It's Andrew Hussey. It's Andrew Hussey dressed as a superhero, flailing off buildings to bring you Homestuck in a single bound. Welcome to 91 Reasons. My name is Jeff. I'm here with as always, my Homestuck experts who are
Austin.
Luna.
And we're going to delve into episode 7 of our continuing adventures in the Homestuck MS Paint universe. We hope you're enjoying it. We certainly are really excited to see the amazing numbers and the amount of countries. I think I have opened every show with that, but it does bear repeating that the reach of this show and the power of the Homestuck fandom is enormous. So if you're a kid somewhere, a young man, a young woman, and you are or gender neutral, and you're sitting alone in your room reading Homestuck, and you think, oh my God, nobody gets me. Nobody understands me. I'm the only one like me around. Just know that hundreds, if not thousands of people all over the world download this Homestuck-themed podcast so that they can listen to us three dorks talk about this thing over and over and over again. And know that you are not alone. That if you were into this fandom, you are not alone. And you should be, you know what, get a part-time job after school, before college, whatever it takes. Save up some money and go to a big convention. There are big cons everywhere. And you will, I'm telling you, you will find that magic moment when the doors open. You've got your badge, you've worked hard on your horns, or you got them off of What Pumpkin, and you've got your We Love Fine themed Hussey approved t-shirt, and you're walking through the con and you see all the Spider-Man guys and all the Deadpool guys, and then just know somewhere at that con, somewhere there are so many Homestucks, you will never feel alone again. And if you think I'm kidding, go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search cosplay videos. We were just looking at, what convention were we just looking at?
Anime LA.
Anime LA, ALA 2015. And yes, everybody's dressed as Final Fantasy and Pokemon and Sailor Moon and all the others. But if you look in the background, what do you see in the background?
About 50 Homestucks all grouped up in one area.
They're all grouped up. They're all staring at the camera going, is he going to film us? I don't know. We should get out of here. So they are everywhere. They are just to the left, just to the right of all the people dressed as Anna and Elsa and Olaf. And what did we see in that video? Slave girl, Princess Leia, Elsa, slave Elsa. Like, oh, ugh. But there are, and the ones we saw in that video were completely done up all the way with gray paint skin, which is your dream, Austin, right?
Horns,
What
Zodiac T-shirts.
describe? I know we've gone into it before, but there may be some new listeners who've just stumbled onto this. Describe your dream convention costume, your cosplay.
That would be probably Cockap, because he's my favorite troll, but a troll cosplay with the full gray paint, the fully done up hair, professionally made horns, the yellow painted nails, the darkened eyes, the Zodiac T-shirt fully accurate to the comic in comic accurate colors, even the suit's exact. Like, I would love to have a complete comic accurate cosplay with the correct makeup.
Now, I understand that. I get that you want to live the Homestuck as a lifestyle. We've talked about that before. But are you willing to make the sacrifices that a cosplay like that brings? That's my question to you.
What sacrifices?
Well, you see the people in the big elaborate costumes. And if you're talking about covering yourself head to toe in gray paint, that's an elaborate costume. And guess what those people do?
What?
They just stand there all day taking pictures.
They're not on the floor.
They're not in the con. They don't have a bag of goodies you see those people with their bags of goodies, but it's not the ultimate cosplayers who do that.
Yeah.
The big cosplayers are in costumes so elaborate, so delicate, so intricate that they have to stand out front. Like the guy at WonderCon who was dressed as Dark Knight Batman, who had the Bat Pod. He can't go into con. Who's going to watch his motorcycle? Or what was the one at Blizzard World that had BlizzCon that had everybody going crazy. Remember that was a giant monster woman that no one had ever seen before. It won every award. But that woman was like, I get to stand here.
You can't possibly walk on the show floor.
No, and if you're covered in gray paint from head to toe, nobody wants you in their booth. Nobody wants you rubbing on T-shirts. You can't pick up comics and go, excuse me, sir, how much is this, what did you ask that guy? What Star Trek figure was it?
Oh, that was so many years ago.
Yeah, what was it? At San Diego Comic-Con.
Like Comic-Con 2009. It was the Keeper from the Nika line.
Yeah, and you're like, excuse me, sir. Like, you couldn't do that in gray paint. Because the first thing he would say is, A, you can't afford it, and B, you're getting gray fingerprints all over it.
Yeah.
So are you willing, like, would you trade the experiences of being on the con floor, getting all the freebies, standing in lines, would you trade that just for a con that consisted of social interactions? Because that's what it would become.
I have no idea. That is something to think about.
Well, yeah, well, that's what the show's for.
What if I used arm sleeves?
Well, if you do anything but makeup, you're fine. But I know that your dream is to gray makeup up yourself, and if you do that, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You're really stuck. I'm trying to think. We've seen some cosplayers who do the full makeup, and then they walk around, and all it does, I mean, it cracks, they sweat,
Yeah.
people bump against them. You know, like the Silver Surfer guy. He's covered head to toe in silver paint, and he can't really do anything but be the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
He has a little tiny, like, pouch for holding his money and his ID, and he has a surfboard. Like, he's not there for con exclusives. He's not there for shopping. He may have to go home to eat. His costume is so elaborate.
Yeah.
So would you be willing to make that kind of con sacrifice in order to look good?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to give up the whole con experience. The best part of the con is going around the floor and meeting everyone and shopping and going to panels.
Right, but you wouldn't be giving it up. You'd be trading it for a different con experience.
Yeah.
Instead of you going out to visit the world would come visit you. The Homestucks would line up. If you had an elaborate, like in the Homestuck realm, what's the most elaborate costume?
I've seen the Bec Noir.
The Bec Noir.
There's
they're
they're both
pretty
Now,
good.
didn't we see a Dirk Bot at a con?
Yes.
There's a Dirk Bot that's got a fully modeled robotic outfit and their own voice changer they made for themselves. And then there's
Okay, so you've seen the Dirk Bot.
Yeah.
And that, is it a girl or a guy? Doesn't matter. It's just Dirk Bot.
Robot.
So you've seen Dirk Bot. That cosplayer has to basically just exist as a cosplayer at the
Yeah.
con. There's no getting in line to get the Hasbro exclusives.
They
as
sat around Shifty looking
Yeah,
all
I was
weekend.
about to
They
say.
never left that area.
Exactly.
They never saw them go over to the con.
They just
Right.
hung out at the
They
Homestuck
got on
meetup.
the Tumblr page and stuff for our Homestuck, but they never.
Would
never
you
went to the con.
would you like to be on the Tumblr Homestuck but not go to the con at all?
Oh, that's a hard choice to make.
Yeah. Well, that's the question of the week.
I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that.
Tough call, huh?
Yeah.
Have you ever, when you're thinking about your costuming, your cosplay ideas, have you ever factored that in?
Well, I need to start factoring that in because remember when I made the Zilly Who?
Yeah.
And I didn't even factor in the fact that I have to carry that around the con all day.
I told you when you walked out the door with it, I said you're not going to want to carry that.
Well-
Luke went as a Ghostbuster one time. For an hour, he was the greatest looking Ghostbuster. And then the rest of the 10 hours, the Ghostbuster pack hung on the stroller. While you were dressed as an Ewok.
I was an Ewok?
Yeah, you were an Ewok.
How
I know.
young was I?
You were 3 or 4.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 3 or 4. So let me ask you, Luna, what you were talking about more cosplays that were
Yeah.
too intricate besides the Dirk Bot. What would be something else?
There's a Bec Noir, and he's a character who got half molded with a wolf, so he's got like a wolf's full head, snout, and everything. Most people just paint up a furry mask, but there's a guy out there who has a fully animatronic one. The mouth fully moves,
It
it
blinks.
it lights up, all this crazy stuff.
He also has wings.
Full-size wingspan, other than the tiny ones most people do.
Yeah. How much you think that cost him?
I don't know.
You think he's listening? Are you listening, Wolfman? What's the character's name?
Bec Noir.
What?
Bec Noir.
Bec Noir. Well, if you're listening, Bec Noir, we want to know
How
how
much-
much your costume costs.
How much time did it take?
Yeah.
And what's it like standing just for pictures and socializing as opposed to Because when we go to a con, it's a breakneck journey to get as much free stuff and exclusive as we can get.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would know how to exist at a con otherwise.
Yeah.
Although to some degree we don't do that at Kamikaze because there's not a lot to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed a trend with the past few cons. It's always been the same routine. Walk the floor and load off freebie bags. Except for Kamikaze. Every Kamikaze, I'm at the Homestuck meetup the whole time.
Right.
The only exception was the 2013 Comic-Con, where I never went in the convention floor. Just because the Sifty Look area was so amazing. There was so many Homestucks
they
there.
had created a Homestuck home away from home up there. I mean, Hussey was there.
Yeah.
All day.
So of course,
Yeah.
and it was the first time you saw the merchandise.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty pivotal
Yeah.
moment in both of your fandoms.
It was only a few months after I read it.
That was the
Yeah.
first
I
time
read
we'd
it
gone
in
to a
April,
con
and
with
that was that
Homestucks.
July.
And I think people who listen around the world are probably irritated that you started started reading Homestuck, and then a few months later you're in line to meet Andrew
Yeah,
Hussey and get his
yeah.
autograph. He signs your poster. He draws you a picture.
People
He
who-
signs your scale mate.
Been around since the Promise Loop days 8 years ago, and like they're never gonna see him. He's not even in the country.
Hold on a sec. Can you stop sharpening pencils during our show?
I'm making a Homestuck cosplay.
We don't care about your Homestuck cosplay. The guy, no, no. But the Homestuck mom here is sharpening a pencil during the show to make a Homestuck shirt for WonderCon, and Jane Crocker, which we would say, that's great, but you've got 23 other hours in the day besides our show to do that in.
I'm keeping in theme. I'm going to make my shirt while you guys are talking about the show.
Okay.
So I think at this moment we should talk about Starbucks Frappuccinos then. What's your favorite? My favorite's Java Chip.
Yeah.
The
Java
peppermint
chip-
one that's only available during Christmas time. Why is that to be seasonal? Why?
It's not seasonal if you're willing to pay for the extra syrup.
I'm not willing to pay for that.
And the only reason we even bring up Starbucks like that, because Starbucks in the last few years has become a huge part of our convention going.
Yeah, we always get a Starbucks.
Oh, it's not a con if you hadn't got a Starbucks in you, because you get energized, it tastes good.
And the best part is you can tell them the name of your cosplay and they'll put it on the side of the cup.
That's it. I didn't even think about that. So you were having them put Homestuck names on the
Yeah,
Starbucks cup.
I had a Tavros coffee cup.
It said Tavros. The lady's like, what do you drink? Oh, what do you drink during the summer?
Just the generic, the cheapest.
Coffee frap.
Coffee frap.
Coffee frap at the bar for Tavros. Tavros. And the funny part is like 5 guys are like, oh, that could be me. What name did you have on yours?
I was Jake then, I think.
Jake from Adventure Time, right?
No, Homestuck.
Oh no, Jake.
Oh.
Jake English.
Jake English.
Yeah, Jake English. Yeah. I was always Marty from Marty McFly, which is not Homestuck, but sorry, I got to keep it real. So,
Rose is Doc Brown.
what do you mean Rose is Doc Brown?
That's a quote from the comic. Dave goes on this rant about his time traveling powers, like Back to the Future, and Rose is Doc Brown, I guess. That it stopped making sense.
So there's even a Back to the Future reference
Yeah.
in the Homestuck
Because
world.
Ryan North.
Just one? Or is Ryan North a big Back to the Future
Yeah,
fan?
He's a huge Back to the Future
He
fan.
wrote B to the F,
Yeah.
which you need to read right now if you haven't. He wrote a commentary on the Back to the Future novelization. Page by page. Every page of the novel has a full 2-page. It's huge.
Ryan North's breakdown of the novelization is longer than the novelization.
It is. It's colossal.
It has interactive games and everything.
He did a whole Homestuck parody
Yeah.
partway through.
Hussey's not as big of a fan. There's only 1 or 2 Back to the Future references here or there.
But
Well-
Ryan North's a big Back to
Ryan
the Future
North's
fan.
a
And
big fan.
Now, do you know how old Andrew Hussey is?
He's 35.
So he would have only been 5 when Back to the Future came
Yeah.
out. How old is Ryan North? Is he older or younger?
I don't know. I don't know his age.
I would
Would've
wager
been
that he's older if he's that into Back to the Future, because we all of us Back to the Future wackos, we're pretty close in the same time frame. Because I read an article once that said your favorite movies that mean the most to you probably came out when you were 13 or 14. And I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. Back to the Future came out when I was 13? Well, that's silly, because Breakfast Club would have come out when I was 13. Well, that's just silly because, I mean, it's not like Goonies came out when I was 13. And it goes on and on and on. If I go into 14, the list grows even more because it includes Howard the Duck. And Howard the
Ryan
Duck.
North wrote the comics for it.
Ryan North wrote Howard the Duck comics.
Yeah, they just did another Young Avengers comic line, and the bookend is all Ryan North does Howard the Duck.
He writes Howard the Duck.
Have you read it or have you
No,
not seen it?
That one's not. It's a really, really weird Marvel spin-off. They don't stock it as much as Adventure Time or.
Would you be interested in reading that because it's Ryan North or because it's Howard the Duck? Neither or both.
It's both.
Ryan North writing Howard the Duck.
Now you met Ryan North at Comic-Con and you bothered him.
Yeah.
You
was
were
so
dressed
nice.
as Ryan North, right?
Yeah.
No. You were.
Luna was.
I was no.
You had
No,
the clipboard.
I was
He had the
Hussy.
clipboard. I was Ryan.
You
yeah.
were Hussy. So you were dressed as the people in the
Ryan
creators.
Weiss. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just as the creators.
Like that would be like me running around dressed as Robert Zemeckis. Like nobody would understand.
But they
like
It's a self-insert thing. They're characters in the comic, so it makes sense.
It makes sense because they exist in the comic
Yeah.
world. Okay, I get that. I totally get that. So Ryan North does he's in the home. Has he written the Homestuck at all or no?
He's writing the game.
He's right. He wrote the game with Hussy.
Now, you're going to make me irritated because you go, he's writing the game, and the way you say it is like it's coming out next week.
They wrote the game already.
It's
said last December he and Ryan got together for a full week, and they wrote the game start to finish. It's solidified, and they're just working on development stuff.
I've written a dozen movie screenplays. That doesn't mean I'm making a movie. You guys really believe this game's coming out.
Yeah.
And that Ryan North and Andrew Hussey wrote it together, and that you're going to be able to one day buy it on Steam.
Yeah.
Is that what you believe?
Just a half hour ago, before we started this episode, Toby Radiation Fox, the guy who does most of the music for Homestuck, all the big ones, him and Powell do all the signature ones. He just put his game Undertale on Steam Greenlight, which means if it gets enough yeses, Valve will say, yeah, we'll license this game out on Steam. And they say yes to almost any junk. There's been total junk that's been accepted.
So the game's gonna make it.
And then Hussey retweeted that, so Hussey's fully for putting things on Steam Greenlight.
And that game's actually gonna have fan trolls in it.
Yeah.
From the Kickstarter.
It's going to have what in it?
Fan trolls.
Fan trolls.
People who make their own trolls.
Fan trolls, well, people make. They make their own
Yeah.
trolls.
And on the Homestuck Kickstarter for $10,000, Hussey would put your fan troll in the comic.
That's awfully pricey.
Well, no, that's the cheap one. They didn't pay $100,000. $100,000 means they'll live past 2 pages.
And was it $1 million, and they'll become the most important character?
Million to become the most important character in Homestuck.
And here's what I would have done. If I'd had a lot of disposable income, I would have bought the live past 2 pages option, which was how much?
100,000, I think.
If I had the money, I would give him 100,000. I would create my own troll, and I would name it Sean Bean, because he would live 2 pages further than what Sean Bean normally lived in every project that he's in. That's it. I would drop the mic and go, Sean Bean troll. Now, wait. I'm confused because the trolls are based off of the horoscope symbols.
Yes.
So if you create another troll, what symbol does he get? All 12 are taken up.
These are fan trolls. They pull symbols out of anywhere.
Oh, come on. The trolls have a 1 through 12 system. How can you go? How can the 13th troll have a symbol like the
14th.
Nerdist symbol?
14th. There's 13.
What's the 13th?
Oh, Opicius? There's a real 13th zodiac, and it becomes the cherub's logo.
Okay.
But 2 more fan trolls were added in because these people paid $10,000 each.
So 2 people, suckers,
Yeah.
2 people actually paid this money, $10,000,
Yes.
to have their creation put in the comic. Have we
Yes.
seen them yet?
Yes, they
Yes.
showed up.
They did show
They were
up.
in one page, and then in the second page, there were skeletons laying on the floor.
Oh my
They're being
god.
burnt alive.
You can buy a poster off them off What Pumpkin.
Yeah, but the 10,000 goes far because now there's prints of them. They're in all the fan projects.
But the person who created doesn't see a dime of that.
We don't know.
I'd assume they'd get money for the art prints.
I would assume so too, because apparently 20th Century Fox gets a cut for every How Do I Live album that
Yeah,
sells.
they do their stuff to give people credit.
Does that mean Disney gets a cut too from all the Con Air merchandise?
Maybe.
What Con Air merchandise?
Well, they do covers of How Do I Live?
Yeah, there's a
and
How Do I Live cover in one of the albums.
Paradox Space, they do a Con Air parody comic. Paradox Space makes money from
Yeah,
advertising.
But they haven't published that yet. If they ever publish it, maybe they will. Maybe they'll get off on fair use.
How old did you say? Oh, you didn't. Do we know how old Hussey was?
35.
35. So, oh boy, here we go. If he's 35 in 2004, is that what you're saying?
No, he's 35 this year.
This year in 2015.
Yeah.
So he was born in 1980.
79.
79. Okay. All right. So it doesn't really hold water because Con Air was 97. He would have been 18.
Yeah.
I was looking for that magical 13 thing.
That would be.
It was Never-Ending Story.
That's Hussey's favorite childhood movie.
Oh, it's like
And Hook.
no, Never-Ending Story is like 84. Hook is 90. Hooky would have been 10 or 11. That's getting closer. Getting closer. Like 93, 92, his favorite movies, if you go by that formula, should be Batman Returns, Jurassic Park, Last Action Hero, that sort of thing. No, you're nodding no.
Short Circuit, Ghost Dad.
No, Ghost Dad's 90, Short
Ghostbusters
Circuit's
2.
86,
Armageddon.
Ghostbusters 2 is 89, Armageddon's 98. See, you guys know Homestuck. I know stupid movie years they were released. I'm not looking at the internet while I do that. Yeah, you're not impressed. I can tell.
Why do you bother to store this information? Like, when Armageddon was released, you gotta have this written down.
Because if you really want the answer, it's because, and this is veering off of Homestuck, when I was a kid, there was a TV show called Remington Steele, and Pierce Brosnan played a private eye who no one was sure what his story was, what his back history was. But he would always do these things where he would quote a movie, and then he would go, MGM Pictures 1935. And I just was like, well, that's the coolest thing ever. If I learn to do that, I get a lot of chicks, because that's suave. Now, I'm not Pierce Brosnan. So when I do it, I sound like the biggest dork in the world, and it actually repels women. When a woman goes, oh, Armageddon, I go, Armageddon, Touchstone Pictures, 1998. And they go, what's wrong with you? They don't go, oh, no, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Okay, so we were rounding back up. Hey, let's take it real quick. We got a bunch of reviews on our iTunes page, which we really love iTunes reviews, because if you go on iTunes and you like the show, please give us a review, 91 Reasons, because there's some weird formula that iTunes uses, and you can get featured on the front page if you get enough good reviews. I don't think it's based on downloads alone. I think it's a combination of the downloads and your iTunes reviews, and they sort of extrapolate some number that tells you how popular you are. So I don't know. But we did get some nice reviews from, in December 6th, somebody named Peculiar, but the E is a 3, so P3 Culiar. Peculiar says, came for Homestuck, stayed for the high-quality content. I'll be sure to download from now on. Also, you now have 2 people who downloaded from China. That's a guy in China listening to our show. That is really, really cool. And then we have a guy who says his name is Check the Review, but the is spelled wrong. So Check the Review says, Reddit told me I was on the Homestuck subreddit when I saw a link to this podcast, and what an excellent podcast. I would love to hear more. That's fantastic.
We also gotta thank the Reddit.
Yeah, the people of Reddit. I know, Luna, you post the link to the episodes on Reddit, and then you sort of monitor the feed to see what people are talking about. And somebody, you remember somebody gave you a nice compliment on there? They said, you have a sexy voice.
Oh, yeah.
And then they said, wiggles eyebrows.
Little rose emoticon.
Yeah. Now, this guy's great. He says the show is fantastic. And for some reason, he wrote, just watch it.
Just watch it.
So, his name is NYTGGHGFFGJKKKK, and he left that review for us on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day. Wow.
So, Mr. Nigik, we want to thank you for your review, but, you know, we're not certain what exactly you're watching. As this is an audio-only podcast, we might be concerned for you if you are seeing us somehow Either A, you work for the NSA, and that's not good. Somehow you've managed to commandeer the webcam on our computer, and that's not good. Or the final one is you're on some really good drugs, and that's really not good. But I'm hopefully, if you are seeing us, I appear as Pierce Brosnan. Who would you like to appear as, Austin?
Can I say a fictional character?
Of course.
Carcat Ventures.
Carcat Ventures. And how about you, Luna?
I don't know.
But we love it. There's another one here that says, this guy's name is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
It's
8.
It's a Whisker Happy Face
No,
sideways.
7, 8.
7
Oh.
8s and 1, 2, 3, 7D. So 8 8 8 8 8 8 8 8 D D D D D D D says came for the Homestuck, stayed for the people.
Woo!
We're the people.
Yeah, us.
We the people. So we want to thank that. Then that review just came in last week. So if you want to see exactly what we're talking about, you can go on the 91 Reasons iTunes page. You click on customer ratings and reviews, and then scroll down to the bottom, and you can actually play along with us as we thank and 8D and check te review. And it sounds like we're making fun, but we're not. We're actually very humbled and happy that you're taking time to review us. So the more reviews we get, obviously the better listings we get, and we won't have days like this where, as you can tell, we're kind of swimming around topics, looking for things. So I actually have a question I want to bring up to you guys and see where it takes us. When you guys first got into Homestuck, there were some things that you said that made me compare, and you're going to hate this, it made me compare the Homestuck fandom to other fandoms, such as Supernatural
Oh no.
and Twilight.
Why would you say this?
Because you're constantly talking. Now, don't erupt until I finish my thought, because I know you're going to erupt. You're constantly talking about shipping, which is not taking things to the post office, but is instead, shipping is short for relationshipping, where you are taking two characters and imagining them as romantic companions, correct?
Yes.
So I didn't understand it when your mother went through this stupid Twilight phase where she went and saw these movies over and over again, and they had shirts on that were like Team Edward, Team Jacob, Team Switzerland, which means you're no team. And I didn't understand it because the books are already written. Bella has already chosen Edward as her husband, her dead husband. So how can you feel strongly one way or another about who she's going to pick if she's already picked? It's no, you can't come in. No, you have to come over and get on the mic then.
I just have to say, you're not choosing. We've already read the books. We know how good the books are. I didn't even like the movies, but I still needed to go show who I chose, who I supported throughout my story, because that's what it was to me. Those are amazing books, and I never will deny loving those books. The movies suck. Not my fault. I didn't cast them.
So when you wear a Team Edward shirt, you're not saying that Bella should be with Edward. You're saying you just like Edward.
Yes, that's my character. Just like they all have characters in Homestuck.
Boy, they have pulled the wool over everybody's eyes with this, man. Because I'm telling you, that's what it's about. It's about shipping. Shipping's this big thing.
Yeah.
The brothers in Supernatural are shipped together. The brothers in Supernatural.
They even Rose were
That's
canon.
unnatural. You can't ship brother and sister. So take me through this. You read the comic. You like the characters, and you guys are constantly talking about different ships you're going to do.
Yeah. Well,
what does that mean?
Homestuck-
Walk me through it.
Homestuck's special because it has 4 types of love, and that's not counting the leprechaun jumps.
But it's I don't know, it's a thing. How do you explain that?
The 2 characters, I don't know how to explain it. It's like,
Well, okay, you don't have to explain it. I'll ask you. Like, I watch Star Wars, right? We always knew that Luke had a crush on Leia, And at the very end, it's like, no, they're brother and sister. So she's like, well, I'll pick Han. Why not? He's the only other man in the universe, apparently. I never sat down and tried to come up with storylines that involved Luke and Leia getting together. Or Leia and Chewbacca, or Leia and Bosk, or Leia and Lando.
And those are all real things out there somewhere.
I know, but see, like, you guys sit around and all you do is mix and match these characters. And like, what are you looking for? Are you like trying to put yellow and blue together to make green? Like, what's the end goal?
I don't think I have any sips not directly mentioned in canon. The main reason why I sip the sips I sip is because I love how well they're developed in canon, and the two characters talk together so well.
A lot of it goes back to Blade Eye Kind with Homestuck. He started that whole thing.
Oh.
Where he was trying to use the relationships as a way of guessing what's going to happen next in the comic. And it's a joke to use it now, because it's so diluted with all the shipping stuff now.
Like, I just imagine, like, one of those flow charts where there's, like, 3 people on the top and then a line down and then 2 people, and the line's like, well, they're together and they're together,
Yeah.
and then they begat this and they begat that. Like, it just seems really complicated that instead of a family tree, you guys want them to have a family wreath where it circles back on each other and everybody's related and nobody's separate. Like, that's too weird. It's weird to me. I think it must be because you guys, your generation has grown up in an era where you take a picture, and if you don't like the way it looks, you can take another picture, or you can take the picture that you took, and you go into Photoshop, and you can change everything about it. So you live in a world where everything's programmable, everything's customizable, right? Mm-hmm. So if you don't like the way the story's going in your head canon, right, you just make up what you think it should happen. And you sit there and you stare off into space and go, la, 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 la. And the story's unfolding the way you want it to. But that's bizarre because in my books, you can't ship the main character, Josie, with anybody but Cameron. There's nobody else to ship her with because my universe is not populated with as many characters that are interchangeable as the Homestuck universe.
Yeah.
So I think out of all the different fandoms that practice shipping, Twilight, Shades of Grey, Supernatural, the Disney universes, whatever, Anna, Elsa, I don't care. It seems like they're so limited in their character choices. Like, you can't ship Ariel and Sebastian. He's a freaking crab.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a web page that exists where they're like, well, Ariel got crab somehow. But it seems as if Homestuck was, as if by accident, Andrew Hussey stumbled onto this idea that I'll give them so many characters that if they don't like the way the story is unfolding that I'm doing, they will come up with stuff on their own. It's almost like choose your own adventure to the nth degree.
Yeah. He even came up with Doomed Selves, which is a way of creating alternate characters. He says that
looking just at the base characters, just if they appear in the little chibi mode and they're a main character, there's a total of 50. And
50 characters.
50 characters with no canonized very much looks or sexuality or anything like that. They're all interchangeable to whatever you want.
And you're talking about not only relationship-wise, but each of the trolls can be assigned whatever gender you decide.
Troll Society has gender roles, but it doesn't have sexual roles. So the trolls just kind of go whatever.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter on their world.
So they're kind of like sorority sisters after a few wine coolers. Whatever happens, right?
The only thing gender does is pronouns. Now, people draw the gold trolls with female bodies and the male trolls with male bodies, but Hussey does not.
He's mentioned one joke about it, and they're about to explain it all. And another character just shut him up, like, don't do that. We're not supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, that's part of the joke, right?
Yeah.
That's what keeps you reading.
Yeah, he's never gonna
Every
explain
once in a
troll
while,
anatomy.
Something slips out, but other than that, it's just whatever you think.
What's troll anatomy? What's not known?
Anything. Every sentence Carcat says, he's got a new curse word it mentions some part of the troll body that's brand new to learn about, and we're like, what does this mean?
Just last night he said, what is it, flap sniffer?
A flap licker.
Flap
I've never
licker.
heard that word in 9,000 pages, but trolls apparently have flaps somewhere.
And that's a derogatory term, flap licker.
Oh my God.
like bone nook.
Bone nook?
Yeah, that's a cuss
They
word
have
Cockhead
bones,
uses.
nooks, bulges, flaps, seed pouches,
Like-
they have, food chutes, and oh god, it's just
Angle glands.
Look how fast you rattled off all those crazy
Oh,
things.
look.
You're laughing at me for knowing when movies come
don't
out.
understand.
Come on.
When I roleplay, I have the MSPA page of troll slang, and I just try to use as much of it as possible.
Rattle off some slang for us.
Well, you know, you got the Dwaskoffer, you got the lawn wing, you got the think pan,
load gaper.
load gaper, Wakoopacoon,
Wakoopacoon.
Westbite block.
Carcat.
This is the greatest conversation we've ever had on this show. Keep
Last
going.
Just
Keep
last
going.
night, Carcat finally said the troll word for beans. They're fart niblets.
He said, "Oh, right, so let's spill the fault niblets here instead of spill the beans."
And you knew right away what he was talking about.
It
Yeah,
took a minute. It took a minute.
yeah.
We were trying to
I
figure
can't
out
believe
fart niblets.
Hussey, when writing Cockhead, just sits around trying to think of the slang.
He probably has a notepad, just writes it down. He's like, I'll get
Yeah.
that in some way. Ooh, fart niblet. I gotta use that.
Lawn wing.
Lawn wing?
Lawn ring. A
Lawn
yard.
ring.
A yard. A front yard is a lawn ring.
A lawn ring, okay. LAWN, you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
A two-wheeled village device. We can't figure out what it means, but apparently your romance can be like a two-wheeled village device.
Maybe the only thing that comes to mind when you say that is a bicycle.
Why is romance like a bicycle? Why is it a bad thing that your romance is going to end up like a bicycle?
Because if you don't balance it right, it'll fall. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'll
I don't
look
know.
up it's used a few times, and I've never got it.
Because
It took me 2,000 pages to figure out what a think pan is.
Think pan is like your brain.
Yeah, your brain.
Yeah.
A think pan.
But I only know that because you think with your brain, and your brain is located in your brain pan of your head. See, sometimes outside information helps. Plus, it also helps when you're thinking about something like that to understand the author. And since you understand Hussey so well,
Yeah.
you can extrapolate what he's trying to say.
And then he
Yeah.
jokes on that sometimes, like, the troll word for Will Smith is Troll Will Smith.
What does that even mean?
Troll Will Smith.
They have Troll Smith. He's one of the most famous
And I'm
movie stars in Artonia.
And I'm sure Hussey likes only the worst of the worst of the Will Smith movies. Right?
It's Carcat, so only rom-coms.
like Hitch.
I don't know though. All the names are new Alternian names.
Oh, okay. So they're all disguised or
Yeah.
something.
They're all in alien gibberish.
Alternians have had movies for thousands of years, so they've run out of titles. So movies in which the main protagonist and the main sidekick go to the store and fight the bad guy here and do this, and there are exactly 37 chuckle moments.
Well, you laugh, but we're not far from that. How many not another teen movie, scary movie, date
Yeah.
movie, epic movie,
Yeah.
disaster movie? I mean, those two idiots have written all that crap, and they basically just name it exactly what it is. I mean, it should be just named Fart Joke. 90 minutes. What is it in Grand Theft Auto? An hour and a half of banging trash can
Yeah.
lids? There's something to be said about truth in advertising. If somebody told me, we're going to go see that movie this summer. Oh, what's it called? It's called Giant Lizard Screws All Your Childhood Memories. Oh, Godzilla! Awesome! Which one? Both. 98 and this one. Junk, man. I would love... Are you kidding? Truth in advertising with movies would be the greatest. I'm trying to think, like, what's a movie that's come out recently? Like, you went and saw Fault in Our Stars, and it was advertised as a romantic comedy, but it was anything but.
Yeah. It wasn't even, like, it was so bad. I want my money back. I want my 2 hours back. I'm disappointed.
You guys went thinking it was going to be this big moment, like this is a movie, a very special movie for your generation. She's got cancer, but she's not going to let that keep her down. She's going to travel all the way to Anne Frank's house and make out with a guy, while everyone who watches does this.
It's even better.
The slow 80s clap.
And
Yeah.
then they start cheering.
Why do they cheer? Who cheers when people make out? That's disturbing.
It is disturbing.
Straight people with the cancer are kissing in Nine Frank's bedroom.
They should be thrown out, not exalted. The truth in our, we got kicked out of Anne Frank's house for snogging. That's what the movie should have been called. But that chick's like a big star. I mean, that's the same girl from Divergent, right? Another post-apocalyptic dystopian young girl must defy what she's categorized to save the odds. I mean, how many of those are they going to make? Do they ever make fun of any, like I know Hussey makes fun of Armageddon and Con Air. Does he ever do any recent current movies?
No, does
most of the comic takes place in 2009, so
they can't reference.
At one point, we cut back to mid 2000s, and one he's so excited that it's Jake English. He's so excited the Avatar is gonna come out. It's gonna be the greatest movie ever. and his friend from the future is like, it's not that good. It's not that good. Go get your hopes up.
Dances with Blue Wolves. Avatar.
Other than some of Jake English's stuff, there's not any recent. Because he has all the recent stuff on his wall, and then only talks about Weekend at Bernie's.
That's from 1989, you guys. That's a long time ago.
National Treasure gets a few.
That's a little more recent. I mean, it's still like 2000.
Tomb Raider.
The early
Tomb Raider.
Hulk.
Yeah, Jake English loves Tomb Raider.
Jake English is obsessed with adventuring and blue people.
A lot of Tomb Raider references.
All right, so hold on. Okay, so we talked about our reviews, and along those same lines, I have to ask you, Luna. Somebody took you to task on Reddit for your Lord English extrapolations and said that some of the stuff you were talking about was not canon, which means that they're listening intently, which we thank you for that. But also, I don't know the comic well at all. That's why I'm the perfect host, because I'm exploring it with you guys. You're leading me through it. Were you in fact using non-canonical items in your canonical display of your information?
I was up pretty on good with the comic. For not looking, I was pretty spot on. And I linked it. I went on there and linked him to 10 different pages in the comic of everything I explained. And all he posted back was the wiki page saying that's not right. The wiki says otherwise.
But the wiki can be changed by anybody.
Yeah.
We all know that Wikipedia is not what you should be doing your book reports on.
This is the Homestuck wiki, not the Wikipedia. This is the Homestuck wiki.
Yeah, so it's probably even more susceptible to people screwing around.
The problem is that the wiki says Caliborn, who's the cherub, is going to grow up and get big and buff and wear the Lord English coat and say he's Lord English. Though in the comic, Caliborn picks up the puppet, puts part of his soul in the puppet. The puppet then gets alchemized with a Q-bar to create a character who becomes Lord English. Yeah. Lord English is only part of the Caliborn soul, which was put into a puppet and then turned into Lord English.
And the wiki just says Lord English is a grown-up version of Caliborn.
But that's not true. They can exist at the same time because they're not the same person.
Yeah. I haven't digged it up yet. I've been meaning to. Arania mentions in the page that there are multiple versions of Lord English, different instances she uses. There's different instances of him in different universes. And we've only seen 3 so far. Caliborn, Union Jack, and Lord English.
Because Union Jack is another character who technically is Lord English, because he puts part of his soul into a puppet, which then gets turned into a monster.
There's half Cue Ball Lord English, there's half Jack Lord English, and then there's Caliborn Lord English.
But a lot of people go, Caliborn's gonna go up and become the one puppet that gets possessed. Yeah. And they completely forget about the other one.
That's mostly people who have been around the comic a long time. So to them, Act 5 was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
4 years ago. So they, it's just... Yeah.
Are you saying they're not remembering it properly? Yeah. You're trying to be polite about it? It's okay to be right if you're citing your sources. You can't apologize for actually being on target. And we appreciate that person listening. We're not trying to degrade them or bring them down. We're just saying that maybe the ultimate source should be the comic and not be the wiki, because the wiki is updatable by the fans, correct? Yeah. So you never know what you're going to get. You know, there are people who, on the regular Wikipedia, wait for the moment some celebrity dies so they can update the page to say that they're dead. And they, all rush to it like ghouls. Yeah. So I'm sure in the Homestuck arena there are people who are like, let's screw with people. Because if I put it on the wiki, then my headcanon becomes... Canon.
Because a lot of people, rather than doing an entire reread of all 9,000 pages, because that is a huge task... Just go over the wiki and read some of the articles.
Around Tumblr, someone said it was a picture of Andrew Hussey's Wikipedia page, And it said, oh, look, that has his age, 34 to 35 years old, which is right. And then someone else reblogged it and put, Andrew Hussey, they had edited the page to say, age like 92. And then someone below them, age older than the universe itself, even before God existed. There was always the Hussey.
What do you think he thinks about that kind of weird
He's mentioned it on
adulation?
Twitter, actually.
He mentioned that on Twitter. It was in response. It wasn't 90. It was 50. Someone changed it to make him look old. And Hussey went on this long Twitter rant about how his fans think he's 50 now.
Because someone edited the wiki. See, even
That's so
Hussey says to
bizarre.
not trust the wiki.
Like, that's so bizarre. Think about what that says about our society, that you can put a false statement on the internet, but because it's in glowing text on your screen, you accept it as fact. Like, that's a scary thought, like, that perception of reality can be altered so easily, and Hussey can, as a young man, overnight, because somebody gets a joke, be 50 years old, and he's not anywhere near 50.
Yeah.
I saw the guy. There's no way that guy's 50. He's a young man, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's bizarre. But how come they can't update that wiki with, like, a picture of his wife and go, here she is. I saw her at Taco Bell.
No one's seen
Somebody's got to be able to. All you have to do is, if you meet Hussey, stop staring into his eyes for a second and look to the right or left. If there's a woman standing there that's not a million years old, it might be his wife, and take a picture.
Yeah. There's the one on his Twitter where he's at a dock, and there's some weird guy in a sombrero and then a girl. That might be her.
Now, you've shown me that
Yeah.
picture, yes. You said
That might be her.
You
There's
showed
no
me.
context, but he's on a pier with a.
He's obviously
this weird guy.
He's
and
on
got her
vacation
there.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And you don't normally go on vacation alone. You have to go with somebody, otherwise it's very boring. So either he took the guy in the sombrero or the
Yeah,
girl. If he
yeah.
took the girl, it's got to be his wife, right?
I guess, yeah. And then I haven't another page of meme track down. If you wait till the end of the Flash, there's a picture of him standing in a new shirt that was just on sale. And then next to him is another girl in the same shirt, and she's got they both got Groucho glasses on with the fake eyes, so you can't even tell it's them. But she might be her. She might be Cindy Juice. She might be the girl who designed the shirt. We don't know.
That's bizarre. That, like, when we saw him at Shifty Look, you were too new to the fandom to, like, look around, like, who is he going?
Yeah.
Who is he leaving with? Like, that would have been the perfect opportunity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If that ever comes up again, you got to stop being starstruck long enough to watch the guy. I mean, that's what I do. I'm a weirdo. Like, I don't get starstruck, so I look at things people don't normally look at and try to find the details. Like, what's going on? Who are they on the phone with? I can figure this out.
We weren't as much starstruck when we went to YNO's podcast, and the whole audience was me, Luna, and Hussey.
That was the whole audience.
Yeah, people listening around the world are like, oh my God.
Yeah, if you went to Wyan North's podcast, because we like Wyan North, we want to do his podcast at Sifty Look, the whole audience was me, Luna, and Andrew Hussey were the only ones sitting there listening
Did
to
you
him.
ever download that episode? Can you hear yourself on it?
I think it's somewhere in the Shifty Look live stream. They didn't release that as its own.
Oh,
thing.
right, yeah, because
I
they were
don't know if
constantly
they're still up, but
they were constantly sending stuff
Rather
out.
than do blocks, they just said we're 12-hour streaming all day. Do whatever.
So
we're
you have to
doing
skip
whatever.
around the 12
Oh,
hours.
come on, Shifty Look. Chop it up and let your
Yeah.
fans have only the
There's
parts that they
a
need.
lot
That's
of
very.
Homestuck cosplayers they interviewed for their cosplay and stuff, and people were like, "Well, open up the 12-hour stream, see if I can find myself."
That's ridiculous. That's not fair to the fans.
They sort of cut it down to one best of interview is Wyan North's podcast, Hussey signing footage.
Yeah, and 12 hours, that's crazy.
Yeah.
This was 4 days.
Over 4 days.
And remember, you're going to have to watch 5 hours of nothing happening and people just playing 80s arcade games as Homestucks walk around.
Yeah.
Hoping that your interview's going to show up at one
You
point.
might walk by at some point.
But I'm guessing you guys would watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I know?
I want to see. I haven't seen it. They got the live stream of when a bunch of celebrities all showed up at once. Hussey was there signing, and you know who sits down next to him on his right?
I have no idea.
What's his name? Clark Gregg. Phil
Coulson.
Phil. Agent Coulson.
Agent Coulson from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Yeah.
He sits down next to Hussey.
Because he's a big Homestuck fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He passed Hussey his book to sign, and then Wheel of Fine brought over some Avengers T-shirts for him
Wait,
to
how
sign.
can he be a home? That's so bizarre that he likes Homestuck. That's so weird.
And then out of nowhere,
Brian Lee O'Malley.
Brian Lee O'Malley
Creator of Scott Pilgrim.
comes up. The creator of Scott Pilgrim, and he didn't walk up like Phil Coulson. He doesn't have that status.
Yeah.
He actually waited in line with everyone.
Yeah, it's just like the creator of Scott Pilgrim is in line with all the Homestuck cosplayers.
Hussey made him fight 12 of Hussey's evil exes to get to meet him.
Ryan North.
Yeah, all the exes.
Sydney,
There you go.
Sydney. Oh. Tahid.
Tahid.
So let me ask you, did it take some of the wind out of your sails meeting him that early? Like, would you like to meet him now that you've read it?
I
and
would.
Yeah,
you think
I know him.
you'd
I
get
knew
more
his
out of
comics,
it?
I didn't really know him at that point.
Right, it was
Yeah.
very new. Like you guys have the charm life that if you're into something, you normally get to meet them somehow because of all the cons we go to or the theme park world that we live in, right?
Yeah.
That's so crazy. If you could meet Hussey today, like what would you want to ask him? Other than, is that your wife over there?
If he remembers me for anything, I've messed with him so many times now. I've been multiple Twitter accounts messing with him. I've made a few. It's
Just ask him one thing.
Huh.
Ask him, are you directly referencing my fan adventure or not? Because
Yeah.
it seems like you are.
In my fan adventure, I did a joke, and then literally like 2-3 days later, Homestuck updated, and it was my thing in it.
Really?
Yeah.
This happens a lot,
You just go,
actually.
hmm.
A lot of the time, you'll make a gag in your fan events, or some weird meta gag.
And then Hussey will do it.
And then Hussey will do it. The exact same
Exactly,
gag.
a few times, and a few times I know it's been just coincidence because he's written some of this stuff in advance. So the last act, there's no way he could have lined it up, but I still managed to do it first, then he did it on a few things.
Means you think like Hussey.
Well, let me ask you, as a guy who's seen, like, I've seen my movie scripts turn into movies, and I know that they made the rounds. Part of me is upset, like, I should have been paid for that. That's my movie. And part of me is like, that's my movie that they stole. They thought it was so good, they stole it. Is that where do you fall on that?
For Homestuck, it's a good thing to make
You've
it
got to
in.
be
Yeah.
flattered.
Because-
People paid $10,000 for their troll to appear on a single page, and then
Yeah.
as like Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru Bones.
Yeah.
You didn't pay a dime.
Here I am tweeting with him. We have
Hussey's-
full Twitter conversations.
Hussey said on his news post that the fandom fuels it still.
Yeah.
That's why he referenced Caliborn in the past act.
Caliborn did some fan art of the comic, and Hussey just blatantly copied this guy's old fan art from like 2011.
On
He's like,
DeviantArt.
okay, I don't know who this guy is. It's from 2011, so I'm not gonna be able to contact him. I'm just gonna reference him in the comic. Puts the update out. Hour later, this guy's yelling that Hussey copied him. The entire fandom's yelling at Hussey that he would steal someone's art.
And this guy is
So
sort of
Hussey wrote up a little
yeah.
news thing on the front page saying about it and giving full credit to the artist and all that.
Well, that's very nice.
And then it was snipped because Hussey has no archive for his news posts. He just deletes them when he needs to.
And then it's gone forever.
Yeah.
We have fan archives.
Yeah,
We
you
have
guys.
ways.
Well, that's a life lesson. I mean, they always are telling you, your generation, whatever you do on the internet will live forever. Even if it's only up for a second,
Yeah.
somebody's going to get a
Well-
screen grab of it.
Paradox Space makes typos sometimes.
A lot. They make it a lot.
And other than screen capping it and saving it, we haven't found a good way of archiving it. Even Wayback Machine that's supposed to automatically archive websites, pictures get changed even on old archives of the website. We don't know how they're doing it.
How is that possible?
All the sites, the pictures are saved on one server and the site saved on another. So the site just says load picture from here.
Yeah.
All right. So if you change
you'd
it,
have to-
if you change the source where it's grabbing it
Yeah.
from, then it
From
would
now
change.
on, we're gonna have to archive them from the source of the picture and save
But
that.
you gotta archive
You-
every page because it's more than just a typo. Because just a
They
few
keep
weeks
changing
ago,
things.
they changed a page. They literally changed the entire page to have a new context.
Yeah.
You guys keep saying we. Like, are you part of the fandom archivists? Are you sitting around wasting your time saving each morsel pixel of Homestuck?
I do a lot of. I save a lot of Hussy's Twitter. I screen cap his Twitter all
Oh
the
my
time.
God.
I post it on Tumblr. He doesn't like it when I do that.
Yeah, no, he
he's
called
yelled at
you
me for doing that.
He called you a clown lord because you're
Yeah.
reposting all his stuff.
And then now my new thing is to run Paradox Space through Wayback Machine because of all the recent stuff.
But it hasn't
it
been
hasn't
working.
been working. They've been beating me.
We missed that Fafui Pades.
Yeah, he put hand instead of had.
Oh, that N makes all the difference.
In the Christmas comic, they gave Fafui as one of the Christmas gifts as a joke, because Trolls Christmas is supposed to walk in a way where they give each other bad gifts. And they gave
So it's like
Hawk
having your grandma.
buckets full of troll genetic material.
Oh.
No.
It was buckets full of chalk.
But
And
nobody-
her house is underwater, so the chalk liquidates and it turns into the.
Everyone
the
thought it
Goomba.
was
Everyone
troll-
thought it was not safe for work.
Ew.
So they changed
So they
it.
changed it. Now she carries a little box of chalk that melts into the water.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
my
the
it's
bucket
still-
full of chalk.
Yeah,
is
no,
didn't
that's
work.
very wrong.
Yeah.
That's very, very
But that's
wrong.
the joke. They changed the joke.
But they said they want to keep it kid friendly.
no,
and
they
publish it.
don't. They said that the first few months, then they gave up. When
Yeah.
See, now you understand. Now you understand the frustration of Greedo shooting first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of Lucas going, no, it was always
Caucasian.
meant. It was always meant to be that way,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, it wasn't. No, I know what the original was because I
Yeah.
saved it. I've got it on VHS. Thank you very much.
White rapper, Caucasian.
Those are all things that
Now it's
Damar
plot
without
stuff.
horns.
Damar without horns. Handmaid without horns. I think Eridan's still missing his horns in a page.
Hasino fixed it. Quick, archive that page.
So screen grab it and tweet it to him and go, hey, Clown Lord, fix the page.
Yeah, I think it's Vriska's ghost army. They show like a sea of trolls that she's commanding. One Eridan doesn't have horns.
And that drives
I'll
everyone
have
crazy.
to check if he ever went back and fixed that.
But what if he wrote a whole storyline that involved
yeah,
the reason that that's not there and actually makes sense?
I'm sure someone in Paradox Space will do that.
Right. All right, well,
Equius's horn, it's broken in the comic, and I think it's Paradox Space. They wanted to provide an origin to how it broke. Well, now it's a joke. Every time Equius appears in a Paradox Space comic, they break his horn off.
yeah, now it's a thing.
That's a thing.
Yeah,
There's 10 different ways he broke
if,
his horn.
And if you look at some of the greatest creative works of the last century, you'll find that most of the things that we think are the greatest were complete accidents. Like the idea that the people who create these things have them all wrapped up to the nth degree is not true.
No.
Like in Return of the Jedi, when Luke is hiding under the broken bridge and Vader is stalking him, and he says, in the script, it says, Vader says something that upsets Luke. That's all it says. And they had to go, well, what if Vader says he's going to turn Leia to the dark side? You know, so you have a twin sister. Like, that's a big moment in the movie to be left for on the day of the shooting to figure out what he's supposed to say. Like, it's amazing. Like, you and I, when we sit and come up with these projects and stuff, we plan them out to the nth degree. But real Hollywood productions do not do that. Look at Con Air. They didn't even have a script. They were making it up as they went along on the set.
And the movie
So,
was somewhat coherent?
somewhat coherent. It's still bug-esque crazy in some places and completely illogical. Like when it's pulling the Corvette through the air and the Corvette's literally floating in the air.
Yeah.
The car wouldn't float, okay? It's a 2,000-pound automobile. It would drag. It's called gravity. No matter any kind of lift you put on it, it's not going to gently float on the breeze. So we're willing to accept the flaws of these creations because we get so much enjoyment out of them that to sit and pick them apart would be to ruin it. People who sit I always am accused of taking apart movies all day and all night, but I only do it to the movies I love because I want to understand them more, make them better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they ever make a Homestuck movie, who do you cast as John Egbert?
You said...
Someone did a really good photo edit of Logan Lerman, the Percy Jackson guy. It looked really good.
You mentioned Michael Cera would be John
Michael
Egbert.
Cera, because
Okay.
that has in-comic stuff.
Sure, it's got
There's
Pilgrim.
Michael Cera hanging on his wall.
Okay, so let's do this. For next week's episode, you guys each come up with, and don't share them, the perfect Homestuck cast, including all the trolls, as much as you want to go in, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, come up with somebody to play Andrew Hussey, and we'll regroup and we'll share that list with the world because they can think about it too, and they can yell at their device as they hear our picks, and I'll even come up with my own. I'll even come up with my own. Spoiler alert: I'm gonna have Owen Wilson as Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff.
Canon.
I know, because it's
That's what
canon.
Hussey did.
Listen, dude, I warned you about the stairs,
Hussey's
bro.
fan-cast.
I warned you. I told you, dog.
And Ben Stiller's Hella Jeff.
Yeah, so think about that. Any last things before we wrap up?
Could it be animated?
Anybody you want?
I mix up their names.
Anything you want?
If I have a
Animated.
Homestuck series, I want to be animated and look like the comic. Not in the sprite mode style, but in the hero mode style.
Miyazaki presents Homestuck.
I thought he retired 10 times.
All right, and Pixar. Pixar presents WALL-E 2, Homestuck. That's where WALL-E lands on a planet, and it's all been turned into Homestuck.
What can we name Homestuck that it's just an adjective?
Oh, like up?
Yeah.
Brave.
Oh, brave.
Frozen.
It's
Stuck.
called awkward.
Awkward. Very fitting.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to wrap up this episode. We want to thank you for listening. Thank you to all of our listeners around the world. We are humbled and honored that you've decided to go along on this journey with us. The best way to support the show, like I said at the beginning or in the middle, is to go on iTunes and leave us a review. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com, where you can look up 91 Reasons and pledge as little as $1 a month just to support. It all goes toward hosting the show on websites and hopefully one day buying enough microphones that we don't have to share. But you never know what the future holds, right? But we have a Patreon page. You can find 91 Reasons and like us on Facebook, where we always are putting up photos. We are hoping to go to a really fun event on Friday where they're going to have a lot of vintage arcade games, which is fun because it'll be like a little warm-up to the con season, right? Mm-hmm. A little warm-up before we hit the ground running with WonderCon in April, where we will be there to support my book, The Sixth Key, and this show, 91 Reasons. And we hope to meet all of the Homestuck fans who have traveled and journeyed to Anaheim for WonderCon. And then absolutely, we'll all be there. You guys will be in full Homestuck regalia for Comic-Con 2015 in San Diego. Are you looking forward to that? Looking forward to IHOP Stuck. This time it's personal part 2.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're a Homestuck, if you're listening, you got to look for us, because if you find us at WonderCon or at Comic-Con, Austin and Luna will both have their limited edition, unbelievably cool Homestuck business cards that they will hand out. That's a collectible that will be heirloom in your family for generations to come, worth at least, I'm not kidding, like 2 or 3 cents. Like, no joke, like 2 or 3 cents. Like, really cool. And if you ask nicely, they will sign it for you. If you ask rudely, they will both sign it for you. So, for our big show, signing off for this week, we're going to be back next week with our Homestuck movie picks. Yes, I cannot wait. Continuing the tradition I used to read about in Wizard magazine, where they would cast comic books. We're going to cast the Homestuck movie. I am the voice of 91 Reasons. I am Jeff Tucker.
I'm Austin.
I'm Luna.
And who are you, ma'am?
I'm Mom.
Mom Stuck. And together we are 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening? You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
All right, welcome. Welcome to episode 8. It's episode 8 of the Homestuck journey. It is a dark day. It is a dark day in the Homestuck realm, and we'll get to that in a second. We want to thank everybody around the world who is listening to us and posting on Reddit and wondering who the heck we are. And thank you to the one guy on Reddit who said that he enjoyed the show, that he binge listened to all 7 episodes, and that he found the show was a great way to sort of indoctrinate his own parents into learning about what the heck Homestuck is. So to that guy we say thanks. He's learning. He's using the show properly. So if we can help one guy, right, we've done it. If we help one guy in one town somewhere in the world, we've done our job. But the numbers were incredibly strong for last week's episode. People, like I said, all over the world are listening. You're listening to 91 Reasons, our Homestuck series, our journey into the far fringes of the internet, where people with horns dwell, and they covet new hoodies and new merchandise off of What Pumpkin and We Love Fine. My name is Jeff Tucker. I am joined, as always, by the resident Riverside Homestuck experts who are
Austin,
Luna.
Yes, and you guys are here on a dark day. And why is it a dark day? Get in close and tell me.
We're on break.
another hiatus.
You're not on break from school. It's a hiatus from what?
The comic.
The comic took a hiatus. Oh, no. No, a hiatus until when?
April.
What are you going to do?
Reread and draw and stuff.
Reread and draw and stuff?
Gotta catch up on all the projects I've got started.
Everybody, I went to my Tumblr dash. Everybody's already insanely bored, editing little panels and mostly arguing.
But how often is it updates come out? Once a week or once a day or what?
It used to be whenever he had stuff drawn. The last act was on a schedule where he did it every other day.
Every other day. So this would be the other day that it's not posted. So if we were going through the normal scheme of things, you get an update tomorrow.
Yeah, which for us would be 9 o'clock because of time zone. So we'd stay up till 9 o'clock tonight and get it.
But how could people be going crazy if we haven't even reached the expiration date on when they would have gotten a new episode?
He put a news post up saying it's gone, goodbye.
It's over.
It's over.
Until
Come
when?
back in April.
April.
We're hoping for some other news posts and merch and stuff, but he really just said see you in April.
You guys are so spoiled. When The Empire Strikes Back ended in 1980 and Han was frozen in carbonite, Luke got his hand cut off and found out Darth Vader was his father. When the credits rolled, we had to wait 3 years. 3 years until we got resolution to that.
That's how it's always been set up. Homestuck's always been set up to read all in a row. He's been drawing non-stop for 6 years now, and now we're getting all these breaks in a row. It's unprincipled.
Damn you, hussy. Give us the pages.
He says he has the whole next act done, but it ruin our minds, so he's waiting till April.
What does that mean, ruin your mind?
He says in the year 2015, these youngins have problems with the feels, and he doesn't want to overdo our feels for the month.
Too many feels, bro. So what happened at the end of this section?
We got a conclusion, but it wasn't very good.
John retconned the comic so that a character who is...
Hey, the phone is ringing. Hold on, let's pause. All right, not to alarm anybody, but that was actually Andrew Hussey on the phone telling us to stop doing the podcast, and we were like, no, we're going to keep doing the podcast. Or it could have just been AT&T offering us a new phone service. You guys decide which. So continue. What was what were you saying?
Retconned the comic of a panel a few years ago where a character died, so now they didn't die. And then we jump back to last summer's update, where things are different now because of how he's changed it. And the problem is it wasn't a big twist that he brought her back to life. It just sort of, we've been waiting for it to happen for a while now.
He sort of confirmed that was the character he was bringing back pages and pages ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago we knew, so it wasn't a twist.
Are you avoiding saying it for spoiler or what?
Say Vriska.
Vriska.
Everyone's seen it by now.
You want to sing the song, Austin?
Oh, God.
Guess who's back? Back again. Did you say everybody on the internet was singing it? Vriska's back. Tell a friend.
The page she comes back to life on had a special URL. It wasn't page 9,300 blah blah blah. It was MS Paint Adventure / she's back.
Oh, she's back.
But the problem I have is
She was
that
never gone?
He was never gone. See, if it was like Nepeta coming back, it would be a big deal because that character was written off.
It's not like she was been gone from the comic for a few years. Just a couple weeks ago, she was in the comic.
The whole act was about her in the afterlife, basically. Alternate version of her.
Were you saying we can't miss you if you don't go away?
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of a big deal that she's back,
The retcon was
despite the fact that we've seen her.
The retcon was the perfect way to bring back some of the older comic stuff that we haven't scene relevant for a couple years now. And he goes in the character 10 pages ago. Oh, she's back now.
An
Like,
alternate version.
where'd she go? Like, we get it, she's alive now, but in Homestuck, that's just a status by her name on the wiki. It doesn't mean much for the plot.
Yeah.
Well, you've always said that Hussey just keeps going back and overlapping storylines and characters.
Yeah.
So, so what you're saying is it's not a big deal that Vriska's back because she hasn't really gone anywhere.
10 characters come back to life every act. As many that die come back to life.
What's like when they killed Superman back in the 90s? They made this big deal, the death of Superman. You know, Doomsday beat him to a pulp and they died in each other's arms. And Superman was gone for like 6-7 months. We knew DC Comics was going to bring him back. It's Superman after all. So when he came back, it was like, oh, hey, Superman's back. Hey, great.
This way.
Big shock.
Imagine if they killed Superman and then released a Superman miniseries about him in the afterlife, and then came out with the He's Back series.
They did.
They did?
They did.
What?
There was a whole storyline where Pa Kent was envisioning Superman in heaven. Like,
So, same thing, basically.
the reign of the Superman is what happened. So not only did we lose Superman, the flagship DC character for that time frame, but we gained the 4 people who they were like, who is the real Superman? And that was the cloned Superboy, the last son of Krypton who wore like the funky glasses. There was the Eradicator, which was like a bad guy, and then your favorite, that's where Steel came from.
Steel, the best DC hero.
Yeah, did you just say the best DC hero was Steel?
Steel. Nobody appreciates Steel enough.
And then one by one, after teasing us like, who's the real Superman, it was like, by the way, it's none of them. And then we got the whole comic of Superman in the afterlife and how he came back. So maybe Hussey's been reading Superman back issues.
Were they good issues?
Well, yeah, they were all right, I guess.
But it wasn't like a big plot twist that he's coming back.
No, it was the big
knew he was
lead up to the
happening.
Nick Cage Superman movie that we wanted.
That never came.
No, it never showed up. What a bummer.
Darn.
But the main problem I have is that the character went back and tried to bring this character back in such a way that the past 3 years of Homestuck never happened, and then an alternate reality that doesn't matter. But the problem is that, yes, it means all the things that happened wrong didn't happen. Everything went perfectly right. But that means there was no character development.
Yeah, all character development has been erased.
Yeah, no, that's the risk you take
Yeah.
when you either do a twist like that or whatever. There was 2 shows that were on in the 80s. There was one that was called Dynasty, and the spinoff was called The Colbys, right? And what happened was, I think I'm getting this right. It doesn't matter. It was 2 really big soap operas in the 80s, right? And in one of them, this guy died. This really popular character died, played by Patrick Duffy. So they had a full year without him. And they had the spinoff had a full year without him. Well, in one of the episodes, the woman gets up and goes to take a shower, and he's taking a shower, and he's like, hey, good morning, what's going on? And it was like, bum, bum, bum. And it turned out the girl was dreaming the whole year. Everything was a dream. He never died. She was asleep, and she woke up. Well, that's fine for that show. Mm-hmm. But the crossover spin-off show was like, well, what are we supposed to do now? Because we've been doing this whole year that he's dead, and we've had repercussions, and our people weren't asleep.
Yeah.
So anytime you retcon like that, you run the risk of really damaging your storylines, and more importantly, like you figured out, negating key events that have happened.
Yeah.
You can't just go and tell the audience, by the way, all that stuff you liked, it never really happened.
The problem is, with never anything bad happening in this timeline, the characters never progressed or went anywhere.
Yeah. During the 3 years on the Meteor, she did develop a drinking problem, and then when they get into their session, she learns she has to sober up to save the one she loves. And then Terezi gets a problem with their relationship, and ends up with her getting her eyesight back. And she can only do things when she's blind. When she gets her eyesight back, she's useless. So she has to learn how to put a blindfold on, fight with her eyesight, and just become she doesn't need the disability yet. And of course, now in this new timeline, that never happened. She's still blind. Rose never drank.
They're all perfectly fine.
Gamzee isn't there, so there's no danger All the characters who murdered everyone are put to sleep, but there's no danger at all.
How do you deal with a reset like that? Because it seems to me as if the next few segments of the comic that you would read, you'd have a little trouble enjoying it, thinking, well, he may just negate this too if he gets a crazy idea.
Yeah.
There's nothing at stake if you're just going to constantly, those magic slates where you ride on them and you lift up and it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just going to draw a masterpiece on that and lift it up, you didn't need to draw it in the first place.
Yeah. It was June 14th, 2013. That's where we're at in the comic now. We jumped that far back. Any update since then doesn't matter.
And that's a good 2,000 pages. Like, a lot of content. And most importantly, a lot of dialogue and character development happened in those pages.
What's the most major event that happened during that period that's now been erased from existence?
Tuezi and Woes.
Yeah, it's the drinking and blindness. Because that's their whole character arc. Their
Yeah.
whole character arc is
The
gone.
entire
So
arc.
that's all been reset.
In this
then-
timeline, everything went perfectly fine.
What the comic does is it skips ahead 3 years because the characters did nothing but sit around for 3 years. One of the most fan-favorite things to do in the fandom is draw comics of little adventures and stuff they did during the 3 years. Well, that's all negated now. None of that happened, ever. All the art is 100% non-canon.
Do you think maybe that's why he did it?
well,
Right now, Paradox Space is running
yeah,
one.
that's the problem.
Paradox Space is obsessed with the time on the meteor because they can fit in stories here and there.
And this is the
They're
canonical
all-
second comic.
Yeah, those are all
Homestuck's
uncanon
companion.
now. They don't make no sense.
Why would he do this to his own art team? He's like, all those comics you guys are writing for the second comic? Well, they aren't canon anymore.
Yeah.
Do you have faith that he knows what he's doing, or is he making it up as he goes along?
We hope. He says he has it written up to the last act now. He has one or two more acts to write, and he's done.
Because the guy that I had faith in that knew everything from the beginning and had a plan was named George Lucas. And it was fairly obvious by the time we got to Revenge of the Sith that the guy had no plan. He was making it up as he went along.
He wrote Mace Windu in episode 1 all the way back in 1975.
Yeah, well, he might have had the name Mace Windu written down, but he didn't have I'm going to write a character that's going to be the head of the Jedi,
Yeah.
but when he confronts the Emperor, he'll be killed in 3 seconds. That's great. I don't think that's what happened. Special appearance by George Lucas.
See, the thing is, though, I think he's doing this on purpose because I think John, the character who's retconning everything, the only character whose development wasn't affected because he's the one doing all the retconning, is going to go back and realize all this bad stuff had to happen.
Yeah.
And that he's going to learn a lesson.
John's gonna realize he's gonna zap in. And he's like, "Hi, friends," and they're like, "Who are you again? We never knew you in this.
We don't have a
timeline,
history
right?"
together
Yeah.
anymore.
Because him and Jade spent 3 years together on their ship. They weren't on the meteor. They were on a ship together. In the new timeline, John died a couple weeks in, and Jade spent the 3 years alone.
So none of the
So none of that
characters know him.
happened. All of John's
So I'm really
friend, all the
thinking-
things he and Jade had fun together in 3 years never happened.
So
He's the
I'm-
only one who knows about it.
I'm really thinking that he's going to go back and realize he can't mess with the retconning this much. And
Yeah.
that he has to make the timeline go long in a way.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Does he have to retcon the retcon? Is that what you're saying?
He has to. I don't
That's
know.
ridiculous. Do it right
It's
the
getting
first
really
time.
Wound it up. Hussey has all these big plans, but he's running out of pages.
Yeah, he just went back 3,000 pages, so obviously he has to write a new 3,000 pages. But he said the comic only has about 600 pages left, which doesn't make any sense.
There's no way
Why
to
does
do
I don't
that.
understand? Why doesn't it make sense? Because there's too much story to tell.
Because it's taken 100 pages. Sometimes it's taken 100 pages to get a character to go from point A to point B.
Well, he would just have to speed it up.
Yeah.
That's what happens in scripts.
But every update, we go closer and closer, and he's still not speeding it up. We're
But
still
see,
going really
but see
slow.
that's character development, because what happens is in most major works of fiction, you show the character learning a skill, whether that's sword fighting or magic or how to get someplace, so that later on when you bring that up, he just does it.
He just does
You don't have to explain that he's learned all this.
But-
There's no more training. Luke spends most of Empire learning how to be a Jedi, so that when he faces Vader and fails, and then gets better in the second
Yeah.
time he faces Vader.
I-
These are how characters progress.
I have to say,
So
Hussey-
what I'm saying is, if it takes 100 pages to get from point A to point B the first
Yeah.
time around, the second time you can just get there. In
Yeah.
my novels,
Okay.
he doesn't. Jack doesn't get to the the island of fear until 300 pages in, and then it takes him 100 pages to figure out how to get off the island. In book 2, he gets to the island immediately, does what he has to do, and then gets right off because he's no longer the child that he was when he was there before. If your characters aren't growing and learning, there's no point to them. If they remain stagnant, the Hardy Boys are great, but they don't grow through 60 different books. Harry Potter grows from a timid young child to a guy who's basically saying, I'm going to face the devil at the very end.
Hussey was pretty good with that narrative-wise in Problem Sleuth, where it took hundreds of pages to show him walking through all the hallways. But by the end, you could just say, go here, and he'd magically appear on the other side of the entire universe. Because you figure he walked through to the...
Yeah,
he
of
did
course.
the little puzzle and beat the little mini-game and walked through the portal again and did all this. You just assume he did all that
Yeah,
again.
you don't have to show it again. The audience will go with you. They'll bridge that gap there.
But my problem is that if he says he only has 600 pages left, and he takes about 30 pages each retcon, it's very slow moving.
You actually believe him? You don't think he's going to get to page 600 on this next leg and then go, by the way, I need 600 more pages?
Yeah.
Because you guys will just go, awesome, 600 more pages. You're never going to, you're not going to get upset with the guy for finishing. What if he finishes in 550? You're going to go, where's our other 50 pages, pal?
Yeah.
There's no way to make you guys happy.
It's funny that Hussey on January 7th, he was saying, okay, pause coming up, guys. I have a lot written, but I have nothing drawn yet, so we're going to take a pause. And then the news post last night, he said, okay, I only have the entire next act written, an entire next act drawn, and almost the entire comic written. Like, it took you a year in the Gigapause to get 3 months of work done, but in this week and a half, you've drawn the entire act and wrote the entire rest of the comic?
Well, his Netflix was canceled, so he had a lot of free time on his hands to sit and do all these pages.
According to Twitter, he was in the hospital with Toby. I guess Toby had some energy drink or something.
According to Twitter, he was in the hospital, just like he said.
And some other guy was going on about he was hanging out with Andrew and they were playing Smash Brothers together.
In the hospital or visiting the hospital?
Visiting. Toby was in the hospital.
And what happened to Toby? Who's Toby?
The music guy.
Radiation Fox, a music guy who's doing Undertale. He apparently had some really caffeinated drink, like the craziest energy drink you can get, and he ended up in the hospital because of it.
Oh, sorry, we're laughing. Sorry, Toby, we don't mean to be laughing at your misfortune. But if you're in the hospital and you go, what are you here for? Energy drink. I mean, people, even the nurse is going to giggle at you. Because if you're drinking Monster, you should be going to church, right, Austin? What happens if you drink Monster?
You go to hell. I mean,
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up, and the devil laughs.
The devil laughs.
But Hussey has said on his website the reason it's getting delayed is not because he's been playing Smash Bros. Going to the hospital. It's because he's been working on the video game.
Yeah, he says.
Oh, come on. You guys love to just torment me. I'm telling you, that game's never coming out.
In the news post yesterday, he says the development is going even much faster than he had anticipated. They're getting out all kinds of stuff. We're hoping that by 4/13 we'll get footage or a demo level or something. Something to show us we're being worked on.
There's no way on earth that if this game ever comes out, it will live up to the years of expectation that have been built up. There's simply no way.
That's why he's hoping on quantity over quality. He currently has 6 games planned.
Oh, come on.
It's 2 games, 2 games, each of 3 episodes each.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Point and click.
Yes.
Point and click.
Adventure game.
Telltale Games.
It's a text-based spoof.
He offered it to Telltale. Telltale said no. He also went to Valve and tried to get to them, but they also said no.
They said they're too busy with.
Basically, Hussey confirmed half.
Listen, if those companies thought they could make money off of it, they would have taken it. Money trumps everything. Doesn't matter how busy you are. I mean, you know me. I've taken jobs that I wasn't even sure how I was going to accomplish because they was like, well, we'll pay you. Then I will do it. So if Valve or Telltale or Steam or whoever it is had a way to make money off of that Homestuck game, or they saw what he had done and thought, look, for a minimal investment, we can finish this game and get it out in like 3 weeks, they would have totally done it. They got people working day and night in their offices doing code.
What Hussey's going to do anyway is put it on Steam Greenlight. Or if Valve says we'll sell that game on Steam, then Valve gets a cut of every sell. And if Hussey does trading cards, you can trade those with your friends. And every time you sell them to a friend, Valve gets some tax of the profit off that. So Valve's still going to make thousands of dollars off this game, even though they didn't sign the deal.
He still has to use the Valve apparatus is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's the only good way to get a game out over the internet.
Right, because they've already got it in place. It's like me selling my books through Amazon.
Yeah, it's Amazon for games.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they want your content because it doesn't cost them anything except hosting it.
Yeah.
They're the middleman. They're like the
host
PayPal.
one store page, and they get tax on every item or game that sells.
Oh, don't I know it? Through Amazon, Amazon makes more money per book than I do.
Yeah.
You know, but see, the gimmick is if I didn't go through them, I'd have to go through the regular channels of getting an agent, getting an agent to represent, getting an agent to broker a deal to pay me. And then when I found out, like, and I'm sure Hussey's looked at all this, if you go that route, unless you're selling huge, like J.K. Rowling amounts of books, i.e. also video games, you don't make a lot of money. When I've done signings of people who have gone that route and had their books published, they go, you know, we don't make a lot of money off of our books. They probably make 30 cents a copy, and they don't sell a lot. What they're paying for is the company has the apparatus to sell your book and get it to legitimate channels if it manages to strike that chord with the general public, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go that route. By going through Amazon, or by Hussey going through Valve, you make a lot more money. Even though Amazon's making more money per book, there's no better platform to make the book available globally.
Because you get a better cut. And it's all about
Well, you get a
law.
cut, period. I'm not selling any books going to the local swap meet and trying to sell them. No one's going to buy my book there. But if the book's available in Spain, and when they purchase it through Spain Amazon, and I make, what, $4 or $5, that's a win, because it didn't cost me anything to get that book in their hands. And I've sold books worldwide, so I get where Hussey's going with that. Like, that's the best route to go.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't think there's a game. I in capital letters, that guy was like, don't doubt Hussey. I am doubting Hussey. Until I see the game, I'm doubting it. Because
$2 million to start his own game developer.
It doesn't matter. How much did they spend on Force Unleashed? And that game took, what, 3 years? You're kidding me. The phone's ringing again. Hold on, I got to take a call from Hussey. So, what'd you say?
Battlefront 3 was anticipated to be the biggest, most expensive Star Wars game ever. They spent so much money on this game. But the side part of the company was working on a game called Mercenaries 3. And they weren't expecting this game to do so badly, but it became the worst-selling video game of all time, to the point where it put the studio making the biggest Star Wars game of all time out of business. They had 3D models of each Star Wars character, just like what Hussey posted, just T-pose generic models. And they had to sell them to a pinball company so they could use them in a virtual pinball game.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is, by Christmas time, we should be able to purchase the Homestuck pinball game, the virtual Homestuck pinball, right? Because that's the cheapest game to mod. Yeah. You just put in the gravity settings with the silver ball and brand it, I'm doing air quotes, brand it with whatever Kiss or Star Wars or whatever. It's the same game replicated.
That pinball company got a Disney license, so all they do now is make Marvel and Star Wars pinball machines by switching out a few of the characters.
Who's playing these stupid fake pinball games?
And they pay like 99 cents to add the Avengers pinball game to your game.
That's so freaking stupid. That is people literally wasting their money. That's somebody handing an iPad to a young child and going, look, there's $8 on my account. Just buy whatever you want. The kid's like, well, if I buy these pinball machines, I can get 8. Basically, he doesn't know it. He's buying the same game 8 times with different characters in it. You know, like I've played Yahtzee. I don't need to buy a $50 Yahtzee because it comes in the Firefly ship. Come on. $50 for Yahtzee. I don't know how I got on Yahtzee, but I got on Yahtzee. But speaking of pinball, we should mention that we went to the Arcade Expo this last Friday in beautiful Banning, California, the middle of nowhere, about 4 or 5 miles from the Cabazon dinosaurs featured in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, if you kind of want to know where that's at, those of you listening around the world. But it was really cool because it was a huge selection of vintage pinballs, probably the largest in North America or maybe the world, and then a huge selection of vintage arcade games and shooting games, and we just had the greatest time. And the reason I bring it up is, Austin, you went in cosplay as who?
Cockhat.
You went as Carcat, and some girl came up and was like, hi, love your cosplay. and you were playing a game and you're like, that's cool, baby. That's cool.
Excuse you, I was playing hook pinball.
Oh, yes.
the hook
You should say
pinball.
that. Tell them about that.
Hook pinball. This is the best pinball they had. It's got Dante Basco painted right in the front, and you can get the Bang-A-Wang bonus. And the pinball machine will scream Bang-A-Wang in Dante Basco's voice.
Yeah,
It
if you
is-
hit the right thing, it goes, bang-a-ring! And it's got Dante Basco right on it.
Yeah.
There's a picture of you playing it on the 91 Reasons Facebook page if you want to check it out. There's a picture of you and Luna actually playing the hook pinball. So even at the Arcade Expo, you were able to find Homestuck related goodness.
Yep.
And you met a girl who was like really into your costume, and we gave her a card to check out the show.
Yep. Speaking of cards,
Go ahead.
we now have 91 Reasons Homestuck business cards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're legit. If you have business cards, you're legit.
I'm going to pass them out at WonderCon.
So at WonderCon, if you see Luna or Austin in their cosplay, do you know who you're going as?
I already have 3 costumes planned.
Oh, well,
Okay.
please, regale us.
I don't know which day is going to be which. Cause I
You
don't
should
know.
go. Just go as Hussy
Nah, I've already done that.
and pass out blank CDs and go, the video game's on here.
It's
on here.
Kyle.
Just like Kyle.
Kyle made a fake suburb startup where you put a disc in or download it, but I think he made a disc version. And it says suburb client, copyright Andrew Hussey, booting up. And then it just glitches out and breaks your computer.
But I'll be Caliborn, Callcat, and Kanaya.
Will you be going in any cosplay?
I don't know yet.
You haven't figured it out yet?
Come on, I already got it all planned. You
But
gotta
you-
help me make this stuff. We're
Yes.
gonna spray paint these props.
We have to spray paint props tonight. That's how busy we are in the Homestuck realm. You bought, what, like a plastic skull or something?
2 plastic skull masks.
And we're going to paint them green?
Yeah, to be cherubs.
Cherubs.
And a giant chainsaw. We're
And
gonna
a
spray
giant
paint
chainsaw.
white.
Spray paint white.
Yeah.
Why is the chainsaw white?
It's because it matches the Prom Sleuth art style because it's from Prom Sleuth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you're going to carry this around
Yes.
for like 10 seconds.
No, I'm gonna carry it around. Unlike the Zilly this is a
He-
prop I
he
can carry
hasn't
around.
figured out a way to retract it into lipstick yet. The one in the comic is the lipstick container that you unclip and it turns into a chainsaw.
Well, you should get cracking on that. Violate the laws of physics.
Hey, look, if Hasbro can make a transformer that's a little tiny box, and then 90 confusing steps later is a big pile of plastic that somewhat resembles a robot, I can make a chainsaw turn into lipstick.
Yeah.
Even if the lipstick doesn't look like
This is the
lipstick.
lipstick, is a giant
Yeah,
box.
yeah. Is that a thermos? It's lipstick.
Hey,
It
it's
looks like a thermos. Does it have soup in it? No, it's a chainsaw. It transforms.
just as confusing as the Michael Bay Transformers.
Yeah, well, you're funny. You're gonna have the only white chainsaw at WonderCon with a little weapons check tag around it, because your white chainsaw might somehow injure somebody and actually be real.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. My favorite is when, like, I get when they bring in those big rifles and stuff that looks lethal, and they have to get them checked with a weapons check. But the dumb stuff, like the Harley Quinn hammers and the obviously fake chainsaws and Freddy gloves, they all have to have those little. This was checked by security.
You should see the Team Fortress cosplayers in weapon checks line. They have giant lollipops and fists. They have to get the fist weapon checked.
Are you saying fist or fish?
Fish.
Like in the ocean?
Yes.
Oh, that come on.
It's a weapon in Team Fortress 2.
yeah.
So
But it's not a weapon in real life.
they gotta get it weapon checked.
Hold
Have-
it like a weapon.
You hold the fish like a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for
It's a
God's sake.
reskin of the baseball bat.
Same with the lollipop.
All right, so we have to tell everybody who's downloading. If you listen to episode 7, we promised at the end of that when we did today's episode, we were going to reveal our casts for the Homestuck live action movie. And we were all set to do that except one thing. Austin completely misunderstood what we were talking about and thought we were casting an animated movie, and he was going to look up all these famous, in quotes, famous voiceover artists, i.e. people that are not Tom Kenny.
I can't think of any
Tom
live
Kenny
action
was only
people.
10 of the roles.
Yeah, you just go, oh, the live action Homestuck movie? That's Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny and Billy West, we're done. Oh, Tara Strong.
Tara Strong.
Yeah, Dante Basco playing Dante
Yeah.
Basco.
He's the only Homestuck out with a mechanical voice. Mm-hmm. But Tom Kenny's the mayor. He's the mayor. You can't prove otherwise. He's the mayor.
All right, so what I thought we would do is let's just do the main cast of Homestuck and just discuss. We'll do it live. who would play them in a movie? So who's the main character?
John Egbert.
Describe John Egbert.
Quirky, naughty.
He's goofy and nerdy. He likes Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters 2, more than Ghostbusters 1.
Yes.
Okay,
He's
so
a prankster.
here's who I would cast. John Hedare.
Who's that?
He played Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh God,
no.
maybe.
I'm John Egbert.
Maybe. With
I'm
a
a
good,
normal
with a good
guy.
wig.
Yeah, exactly. John Heder
Yeah.
as John Egbert. Hey, how's it going? I'm Napoleon Dynamite, but I'm really John Egbert. Okay, so there's my pick.
Oh,
Anybody
I
else?
think that's
Dave.
yeah.
Okay.
Who's the next main character?
Rose.
Rose.
Rose the blonde.
Describe
She's,
her character.
She's
likes-
grimdark.
She's grimdark. She
She-
likes reading
She likes Cthulhu,
Not
Lovecraft.
Cthulhu, not-
she doesn't know who Cthulhu is, but that sort of thing.
that sort of lore.
The Homestuck
Physically, what
version.
does she look like?
She's
Blonde
white.
hair.
She's blonde.
Blonde.
Those are canon. She's white and blonde.
And I
Okay.
know people are gonna argue in the comments that it's not, so we'll
black
post the comic
lipstick.
links to when they say that.
Oh, she like a goth chick?
Yeah.
So we'll cast
Just like Mandy from Billy and Mandy.
Fairuza Balk. Fairuza Balk is the girl from Return to Oz. When she grew up, she was in The Craft about witches.
Okay, yeah.
Here, you know what I'll do is while we're talking about these
Bring
people,
'em up.
I can bring you a picture on the internet, the interweb. It's a series of tubes, and we can look at who we're talking about. It'll take a couple extra seconds, but I think you will get it. So you know what Napoleon Dynamite looks
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
right? So if I put in, see, it comes up right away. Fairuza Balk, her picture, like there's,
Okay,
that-
yeah.
Yeah.
look at that picture of her. That is the chick you're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
See, this is
Yeah.
what I do. This is what I'm good at. When we go to the conventions, all I do is scan the crowd and pick out celebrities. Even lesser ones. I'm like, that's the guy that was in the Morgan Spurlock Comic-Con documentary. And then that guy hung out with us for like an hour. Or I'm like, hey, there's the guy that was the ice cream scooper from Survivor. And then he hung out with us for a
Game
while.
show host hung out with us for a
Oh,
while.
yeah. Million Ways to Leave a Game Show. And we're like, hey, it's been great meeting you. And he's like, no, I got time to hang out. And we're like, it's been great. Okay. Have a seat. Join the family. Okay, who's the next main character?
Dave Strider.
Okay. Dave Strider. And he looks like what?
That.
Oh, that's who would you cast as?
Blonde.
That's
Cool guy.
that's Tom what's his name?
Who Tom? Who? There's a
Tom-
lot of Toms.
Tom what's his name?
Oh, Tom Felton.
Tom
Tom
Felt.
there. That's
Yeah,
him.
Yeah,
okay.
That's Dave Strider. My God, it's like it was written for him. See, now we're rolling.
He even was the black suit around the
Yeah.
whole movie.
He's a
He's
cool
like,
kid.
he's like, Candy Cane Holmes, you must be a troll. Okay, so who's the next main character?
Jade
Jade
Harley.
Jade Harley.
Yeah.
Okay, Jade Harley. Oh, she's dreamy. Oh, that's Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah.
Look at
yeah.
that. That's
She's quirky.
Look, that's her.
Yeah.
Zoe Deschanel.
That's okay. That's an easy one.
We should be writing these down because someone's going to ask and they're going to go, we don't remember. Look at the episode. Because remember that one guy was like, where are the show notes?
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of show notes because I when I look at show notes for podcasts, you're like, well, this is exactly what's on the episode. I guess I don't need to listen. I want people to listen. So a lot of the show notes, in quotes, are just teases to get you to listen to the
We
episode.
put pictures on the Facebook.
Yeah, I do.
That's about where we
Yeah, that's our show
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the next main character?
Call cat.
You want to go to Trolls or the rest of the kids?
Kids.
Jane Crocker.
Jane Crocker. Okay, she's a little different. I would cast Lizzie Kaplan. You know who that is?
No.
You probably don't know. She was in look, there she is.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
She was in Cloverfield. She's the one they went to rescue.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's in a lot of shows where she takes her clothes off now, so you probably haven't seen a lot of her. Either her or what's the chick from Two Broke Girls? You know her name?
No.
This girl, Kat Dennings.
Maybe.
But I think the other girl was
No.
better.
Yeah, I think the other girl was better.
Yeah, Lizzie Kaplan. So look it up. For those playing along, Lizzie Kaplan as
Jane Crocker.
Jane Crocker. Okay, who's next?
Jake English. Oh boy.
Jake English. There he is. Okay, he's kind of a hip dude. He's got a gun.
He's obsessed with Tomb Raider.
Obsessed with Tomb Raider. Probably not Justin Bieber, right? No.
What's wrong with you?
Many things are wrong with me. Well, this is kind of just like an every guy.
Gantier wears his tight little pants.
Oh, look at that. That's lovely.
I've seen people cosplay that
Yeah,
too.
so have I. It's terrifying. But no, he's just a normal. Like you could cast almost anybody in that role.
Yeah, he's generic.
He's
He's
gotta be
supposed to
like-
be generic adventurer
Yeah.
kid. So he's kind of supposed to look like that. And you try to make him look as much like John as possible, so it's a running gag. They get confused.
Okay. Well, I don't know because he just seems so I guess you'd cast an unknown actor because like he's not
anyone
very
could do it.
dynamic.
Anyone could work.
Yeah.
Anybody could be that guy.
The Alpha Kids weren't really supposed to be their own characters. You gotta
Okay.
force them.
Who else you got?
Roxy Lalonde.
I love how they come right up on Google.
You just need the first name.
Yeah. Oh, she's like a free spirit.
Yeah, she drinks.
Yeah.
She's always drunk.
Was this the chick with the martini glass
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Comic-Con?
Yeah,
Let's see. Well, she's blonde, right?
yeah, she's blonde.
Well, it's not anybody I like, but I would cast Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory.
Oh.
She's got geek credibility. She's got the
Right.
exact
That's
look you
good.
want. And a lot of people right now are going, yes, that's who I would have cast because I love Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And then people are shocked when I go, I don't watch Big Bang Theory. It's got a laugh track. I can't watch it.
Despite
The
there
laugh
not being
track.
any funny jokes, the laugh track.
Now you're gonna lose listeners saying that.
Oh.
It's popular the world over.
It's got the moist guy.
Moist.
Yeah.
The worst. I make people need to take a
it
shower.
because I've known it's got so many known references, and my mom turns it on sometimes. She likes the known references, but I just don't find it funny. I don't laugh.
Yeah,
Bap
I-
Zingers.
I'm not getting the
Zongo,
joke.
Whatever.
And you know what might be part of that? Maybe part of that is going to cons and seeing the absolute overload of Bazinga and
Yeah.
that
It's
cat
just been done to
and
death.
the onslaught of what's the guy's name? Jim Parsons
Sheldon?
bobbleheads and wire holders
Yeah.
and scissor heads and oh my God! It put his mug on everything, including mugs. Okay, who's next?
Okay, Dirk Strider.
Dirk Strider. What does Dirk Strider look like?
There. There we go.
He's just like Dave, cool kid.
He's Dave's bro.
Yeah.
He's not a parent, so he kind of looks similar.
I see. He's kind of like a hip dude.
Yeah.
He looks like the Final Fantasy guy. Is he supposed to be like that?
He's supposed to be very anime-ish because of the glasses.
Let's see if I can find this guy here. How about Perfect Tommy?
Who is that?
Who is
Oh my
that?
god.
This is a guy from
Okay,
Buckaroo
yeah.
Banzai. I don't even know his name other than it's Perfect Tommy from Buckaroo Banzai. If you've not seen Buckaroo Banzai and you want to call yourself a nerd, you need to see Buckaroo Banzai. Buckaroo Banzai is, his name is Lewis Smith. Buckaroo Banzai is a blatant attempt at trying to create a sci-fi franchise by making a movie that's almost completely incomprehensible and begged for a sequel. But because it was so incomprehensible, it didn't get a sequel because it didn't make any money. Because it doesn't make any sense. Buckaroo Banzai. It's called Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. And it makes no
Never
sense.
even heard of it.
Yeah, it stars Peter Weller and Jeff Goldblum. All right, who else you got?
Are we going
We're
to
going to
trolls
trolls?
now? That's all the kids.
Okay.
Carcat.
Carcat
The K.
with a K.
Not a C.
I got a key. Hold on, Carcat.
Yes.
Boom.
Beep,
Okay.
beep, meow, meow.
Now that person doesn't look human.
He's not human.
So it's got to be. So basically, what you're saying is you need to George Lucas this up by making Carcat a completely CGI character.
No.
How does he? What does he look like? Because I know
he's
some
very-
of these guys have
apparently
voices.
got a husky voice. And he's like,
Very angry.
It's a mixture. Half the fan's like, "It's Carcat," and all the music team's like, "I'm Carcat Vantis."
So it can't be like
It's-
Gilbert Gottfried. I'm Carcat Ventress.
Oh God!
Aladdin, you gotta help me.
If it was animated, yes.
Yeah.
If it's animated, it's Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah. Not actually Gilbert Gottfried in gray paint running around.
I'm supposed to be a troll in this Homestuck, which is weird because I've been Homestuck for the last 14 years. I don't know. Okay, sorry. So I apologize for that. Okay, so we need to find a guy to play Car. Now this Carcat as a human, who played
Who?
in the Peter Pan live action movie that
Yeah.
was in 2003. Do you remember this one?
Which one?
Look at this guy.
Oh, okay.
Look at this guy. There, that guy played Peter Pan.
Uh-huh.
That's Carcat.
I could see
Dye
that.
his hair black. Give him, and he's got pointed ears already. That's why I
Yeah.
looked at that. His name is Jeremy Sumpter. Sumpter. He's very dreamy now. Like that. It's not a guy you know real well, but he played Peter Pan.
So it ties in.
Yeah.
So he could
that
be
works.
gray. Boom. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go with Peter Sumpter because if you try to go with the Hollywood way, you're going to end up with this guy.
No.
You're going to end up with the guy who plays PETA as Carcat.
No.
What's his name?
No.
Josh Hutcherson.
Josh Hutcherson.
Absolutely
Oh,
not.
God.
So okay, hey, listen, this is how Hollywood works, man.
Oh,
No.
so
who
same
else?
few actors.
So we're going with Jeremy Sumpter. It's not an obvious choice, but he's probably got good acting
Yeah.
chops.
But let's go in troll order. We're gonna get lost. Havros is next.
Tavros.
Oh, Radia's next, actually. Like,
Oh, he's the guy with the giant
Oh
horns.
yeah. Skipped Aradia. I don't care about Aradia.
Tavros. We can't be Dante Basco because Basco plays himself.
Yeah, he
right?
plays
Yeah.
Tavros' son, technically. I
also
guess.
his imagination.
Also his imaginary friend.
Yeah.
So does Tavros have a voice?
Yeah.
Tavros always talks like this because Octopimp did it a few times, and everyone copies Octopimp.
Okay, all right.
Okay, in comic, not using bad Octopimp, he stutters a lot and says a lot. Like he
Yeah.
can't get everything out. He stutters badly.
Well, see, I'm at a disadvantage because I don't know a lot of current young, hip stars, except for the ones who come to Knott's, and they're not that young and hip. But what about? Wait a minute. What about Barry Goldberg?
Oh.
What about
him? Okay, I see it. Yeah.
That guy. What's his name?
Okay.
I don't know
Doesn't
his.
say his name.
Yeah, I don't know his real name. Troy Gentile, who plays Barry on the Goldbergs.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you take this picture, like just imagine the horns.
It's already got that gold on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hey, we're rolling, man. We got people that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Aradia, because we skipped.
How do you spell Aradia?
Aradia.
Aradia. Oh, she's hot. Hey now. So we need a sexy, vivacious chick, right?
She's dead most of the time.
He's a ghost while running around.
Does she have a voice, or do we know?
No. Oh, there's a fan album where she's just sort of generic good singer because of the music.
All right. So is she crazy?
Yes.
Yes. Sort
Perfect. I'm gonna cast Winona Ryder
Yeah, okay.
because
that
she's
will-
crazy.
Yeah.
And Winona may be a little too old, but with CGI and lots of gray makeup, boom.
The great makeup, you can cast anyone. They
she's
look good.
she's
Yeah.
Aradia. She's crazy, and I get to put the chick I like right in the movie. She's in the movie. Winona, call me. I've just cast you in the Homestuck movie. Right? Who's
Who's
next?
next?
Solix.
How you spell that?
Sollux.
Solix
He's
Captor.
a computer hacker.
Oh, okay.
Game on.
He's a gamer. Noobs.
How about Keanu Reeves?
Oh,
Oh.
God. It's like the reference folding in on itself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you say hacker and stuff, and I'm like, well, just cast Neo. We have an unlimited budget here, so we can cast anybody we want. I'm Sullix. Whoa. Like, yeah, man. All right, who's next?
Who is after Solix? Nepeta? Because we skipped Carcat. We already did Carcat. So
Nepeta?
No, ETA, not ITA.
Hold on, I gotta get it. ETA?
Yes.
Nepeta. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
girl.
Cutesy cat girl, but she also is a hunter who murders animals
She's a
and uses
poacher.
their blood to pick
Is this
walls.
what this is who you are when you have claws on your hands?
Yeah.
With the green jacket?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. So, Nepeta.
She's obsessed with shipping and murdering.
Yeah. She paints sipping walls with the blood of the animal that she poaches in the Autonian forests.
How about what's the chick from iCarly?
Ah.
Oh.
Okay.
What's her name? Miranda Cosgrove.
Yeah.
How about that?
I can see it.
You can see it, right? And she's hip, and she needs a
She's
job.
hip.
That
Kids like
Despicable
her.
Me stuff's not. I mean, she's not even in the new one.
Is she not? I
No,
thought
it's
she-
all about
oh, no, it's the
Minions.
Minion one. There was another
Gru
Minion
doesn't
one.
show up to probably the last 10 seconds.
They got
the
crawling for 10 minutes.
Right, the Minions are like, who could be? It's at the door, and he opens it, and like, and then the credits, and then Steve Carell gets 10 mil.
Top billing and everything.
Yeah, Steve Carell is Gru in the last 10 seconds of Minions. All right, who's next?
Terezi, right?
How you spell Terezi?
Terezi.
It's
We
the
didn't do
outfit I'm wearing
Terezi
right now.
already?
Trezi.
No, yes, there is.
Terezi.
Just-
Justice.
Is this
This
a-
is the outfit I'm
oh,
wearing.
this
Everyone
is the
makes
dragon
Talk
girl.
like a reptile.
This is a girl?
Yeah.
Who would you? God, all these people look the same.
Yeah.
They're
It's
so
the
similar.
minimalist style. He
You
at
just-
least switches out the eyes and the hair.
Yeah, you just keep having to find like the same different. Okay, here's who I would cast as Terezi. I would cast what's her name from the Addams Family, Christina Ricci.
Huh?
Hold on, gotta see her young. There's Terezi. right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Christina Ricci's crazy. She's absolutely insane.
Terezi's crazy.
Well, there you go. And she played Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
In gray makeup with short hair and the glasses. Yes.
Excellent. Who's next? We are rolling through this.
Kanaya.
Who says
Kanaya.
casting is hard? You just pick who you want, call them up, and write them a
I
check.
think we skipped Kanaya.
Yeah.
How you spell Kanaya?
Kanaya.
Kanaya West? Like the guy?
There I
No.
am.
Oh, this is the chainsaw.
Chainsaw. Hussey says she's a space lesbian vampire.
A space lesbian.
Yeah.
Well, that about covers
He
everything.
shares the star sign with her, so he too is a space lesbian vampire.
A space lesbian. Well, here's who I would cast. I would cast Marina Baccarin. She played in V. Look.
Oh,
Boom.
yes.
Yeah,
She was
okay.
also on
Yeah.
Firefly.
Yes.
Wow.
That is Kanaya.
Listen, I don't know how to do a lot of things, but I can do this. I've directed enough shows that I can cast
Picturing in my head
people.
right now, it's
That's
perfect.
perfect.
She's
Yeah.
perfect, right? We finally
Yeah.
nailed
Perfect.
one.
Okay.
Okay,
This is Kanaya.
that's the first one. It's like, oh, perfect.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May I
She's
say,
Kanaya.
we're looking at a picture of Marina Baccarin. May I say from the bottom of my heart, okay,
Who we
anyway.
put for Rose?
Listen, there's no show notes, sir.
Yeah, they have to kiss.
Who's Rose? Rose what?
Rose
Lalonde.
Lalonde, remember?
Spell her last name?
Lalonde.
Oh, Rose. You'd say like I don't remember that.
Who do you cast as her?
Rose Lalonde? Who was Rose Lalonde? Oh,
You're already forgetting.
Kaylee Cuoco.
Okay, she's
Well-
got to make out with Kanaya.
I listen. I endorse that wholeheartedly. Thank you, Mr. Hussey. All right, who's next?
Vriska.
VRI
SKA.
Vriska. Oh, Vriska's a girl too.
Yeah.
Okay. They all look the same, man. This chick looks
She's
just
got
like a
long
million.
hair.
Oh, for goodness sake! They all look the same. Vriska. What does Vriska sound like? What is her character?
I don't know. Hers is all over the place.
She changes a lot.
She's always just whatever people singing. Because people only ever sing as her. They never.
She
voice
has an
act
eye
as her.
patch, right?
Yeah.
For a while, yes. Then
So
she
what
gets
if we
her eye
did,
peel fixed?
Daryl Hannah in Kill Bill.
Oh.
You have to dye her hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Look at that.
Okay.
Imagine with
Yes.
black hair, because then we've
Yes.
already got the eye patch done.
Perfect. That's, just like Kanaya,
That's-
she's spot on. She's Vriska.
That's
Yeah.
L Driver.
Yeah.
L Driver from Kill Bill. And those of us who know Kill Bill are already hearing the whistle song in our heads. It's a very, very awesome scene. Okay, we are rolling, man.
All right.
Who's next?
Equius. Sorry, Equius.
Spell Equius.
EQUIS. I messed up somewhere. It should come right up somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Look up Zayhawk.
Zayhawk.
That's his
Wait,
last
that's
name.
There.
Aqueous.
Zach.
Which one's
or Zayhawk?
Equius? This is Equius?
That's Equius.
Yeah.
He's buff and strong. He drinks milk and horses and. Where's horses? Nothing about it is
how do you
horses.
like this plush rump? Quite a bit, actually. I need several towels.
That
I
is-
don't know
that
what's
is
going
not-
on.
Yeah,
He
that
always
is-
needs towels.
Yeah, click on that.
Everything makes him sweat. He loves being commanded.
This is a dude?
Yeah, everyone makes him talk like this.
Oh, well, there's only one person. You got to put him in there. Nicolas Cage.
Oh, God.
Nicolas Cage is
Nicolas
Equus.
Cage.
Oh, yeah. And he needs the work. So he'll work for like a sandwich. Or Hussey's Taco Bell trips. I'll be happy to do your...
Talking about that.
Yeah.
IPGD said, I can't believe Hussey's coffee table is made entirely of Taco Bell receipts glued together.
He's on this modern art.
It's like some modern art, yeah.
Ooh, boy. Okay, who's next?
Gamzee. EE, two E's. They're all
Gamzee.
6 letters.
Gamzee.
Yeah, he's drunk stoner juggalo.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Look at the makeup. Look at the
Not
weird
makeup,
look.
Yeah.
It's Johnny Depp.
Oh, God. I don't think
Listen.
I'll ever be able to see that.
I'm Gamzee. It's quite like the makeup I wore for Alice in Wonderland, and it's good because Tim Burton's directing the Homestuck movie, and I'll be in all 6 sequels.
Oh, God.
They've already paid me for all of them. I'm Johnny Depp.
Yes.
All right, we're rolling. Who's left? Is there any left?
Eridan.
How you spell that?
Eridan.
Eridan. Oh,
Wizards. He's a wizard.
that's
He's
Daniel
Vatican
Radcliffe.
themed. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Either Daniel Radcliffe or Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, no.
Just go with Daniel Radcliffe.
No, come on. I'm Eridan.
No.
We've got to solve the crime. There's no crime to solve.
He's already got the scarf.
That's what I'm saying. Look at that. We're pointing at a picture of him. It's like Sherlock with horns.
It's a canon image, too.
Yeah,
Oh,
with the
boy.
scarf.
Ugh.
Who do you like better, Radcliffe or
I
Cumberbatch?
don't know.
Radcliffe. Okay.
Than him and Dave.
He wears the scarf too. I mean, if you swap that out for
Yeah.
Gryffindor colors, it'd be that guy. All right.
Feffery.
Feffery's the last troll.
Spell it.
Feferi.
This troll is terrifying.
Pfeffery. Pfeffery.
Feffery.
Oh, this is a chick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, baby.
She's a fish. Glub
She's.
glub.
Oh, this is the one that people wear the fins on their head,
Yeah.
right? We've seen a few of these at the con.
See, he's a ghost most of the time because
Yeah, she's the last troll to be shown and the first troll to die.
Here's who I would cast: Zoe Saldana, because she played the same part in Avatar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see it.
Boom! I love it when, and aren't we proud to say that it doesn't matter what your skin color is, because you get to be whatever you
Yeah.
want in Homestuck. It's inclusive, everybody. All right, is that it for the trolls? Who's left?
Other characters you want to
Yeah,
do, the other ones.
real quick. We got a few more minutes.
Roast
Space
right.
Slick.
Space, just Space Midnight Crew. You haven't done
Midnight Crew. We're doing it all in a row.
Yeah, Midnight Crew.
It'll come up.
Midnight
Midnight Crew. Okay, so they're the faceless kind of mob
They're
guys,
just
right?
carapace
Yeah.
shells. Don't really know what
So
they
we
look
talked
like.
about this in the car. To me, if you're going to cast, it's going to be Steve Buscemi, who played, you probably know him best as Garland Green in Con Air.
Yeah.
There's Buscemi, Clint Eastwood looks like, Robert De Niro, and that would be Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci, Buscemi, De Niro. We're going to take Eastwood out because he's not a mob guy. We need Buscemi, Pesci, De Niro, and then the big guy would be, what's that guy's name? Chaz Palminteri. You know who that is?
No.
Where? I'll show you the picture and you'll go, that's the guy. There he is.
Oh,
Boxcars,
Boxcars,
yeah.
Boxcars.
Yeah.
Chaz Palminteri. He played a mob guy in 30 movies along with De Niro
He used to
and
bite
Pesci.
someone's head off.
Yeah, there you go. So there's the Midnight Crew all in one swoop.
Yeah.
Bang. Who else you got?
Dad Egbert.
Dad Egbert.
Dad Egbert.
He has no features.
There's nobody here.
He's got a nose. That's it.
That's it?
He's just got a nose. He's generic dad with shaving cream and a pipe and a tie. And
He's a
he
parody of
bakes
every
cakes.
generic-
There's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
one guy to play this character. Ahmed Best. The guy who played Jar Jar Binks. Because he can wear that on the set and then digitally paint him out.
Just like
Wow.
the filming of episode 1.
Who else you got?
Oh boy.
What about Lord English?
Yeah, Lord
Yeah.
English.
What does he look like?
The buff version?
Oh
There
my
he is
God,
right
he's
there.
terrifying.
He's just CG.
Puppet?
Yeah, he's just a monster.
Yeah.
Can he be a henchman
So
puppet?
it's a puppet, and it's played by who plays all these parts. It's easy. Hold on, I'm having trouble with my search engine. Ron Perlman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
There you
yeah,
go.
Okay.
Ron Perlman, who played
Perfect.
Hellboy,
Yeah.
who played in what's that biker show that he's on?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. And a million people are like, man, that's the greatest show ever. You don't watch Sons of Anarchy? You guys are nerds. Yes. Yes, we are. That's why you're tuned in. All right, so who else is left?
Calliope.
Spell that, please.
Calliope.
Oh,
This
Calliope.
character dresses up as a troll.
Calliope.
Oh, so there's another green person.
Yeah.
Well, they have a troll self they dress
They have
up
a troll
as.
self too.
See, that was the troll version of them.
The troll version is like
They gotta. Someone has to be able to play both.
play both. Okay.
Same character.
Okay. There's easy. That's I would say Arlene Sorkin. You're gonna laugh.
What?
What?
Arlene Sorkin is the voice of Harley Quinn.
Oh.
And in her younger days, she looked like Harley Quinn.
Okay.
So that's who I would cast,
Okay, I
because
can
she's
see
crazy.
And
Mr.
then
J.
Caliborn, her evil brother.
Caliborn.
He
Yeah.
tips his fedora.
Yeah.
There
He
was one
used
here,
to
right?
be evil. Yeah, he used to be evil, but now he wears a fedora around,
Tips
draws
it.
anime.
Oh, God. This one just says F you.
That's
who,
the image from the comic.
That's
Who-
canon.
who is he battling there?
No, he's hugging Jake.
Oh, he's
They're-
hugging
He
Jake.
threatens a
They're the best
character.
bros ever on their gay adventures.
Oh,
He
my
draws
God.
that and threatens to kill him if he doesn't set it as his phone background.
And then
really
the next page
happens.
is his phone background.
Okay. Oh, here's somebody dressed as this person.
Uh-huh.
Look at that guy. That's a good costume. Wow.
That makeup's impressive.
Caliborn by Wolfsbane 12 on DeviantArt. That's amazing cosplay.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a real person, so I don't. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
cast anybody in that role. You could cast who's the guy that's from High School Musical that's in everything?
Who?
The main guy.
Oh, okay.
What's his
I
name?
forgot his name.
I love that you guys don't have any concept of
No.
current pop culture. That guy's in all these
We don't
movies.
care about mainstream
Zac
pop
Efron.
culture.
Zac Efron. It's Zac Efron.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah, I knew. I had to think a long
Just
time.
just takes you a minute.
Long time.
What else you got? Who else?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Because I'm gonna say real quick, John Cusack,
Mm-hmm.
the guy from Con Air.
Yeah.
He's gonna play Andrew Hussey in the movie.
Oh, okay.
He'll get lip implants,
Lip implants.
or they'll augment it with CGI. But he'll be the guy, you know, like Lemony Snicket, like he's narrating.
Yeah.
He'll be the narrator, and you'll see him like in fleeting shots, running around with the updates until finally settling down to finish it up in the finale of the movie.
The updates are a bowl of candy that you eat the updates. Hussey eats the updates.
He eats the updates.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. All right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Anybody
Doc
else?
Scratch.
Doc Scratch.
Who?
Doc Scratch.
Doc
if you
Scratch.
think we couldn't get any featureless, here we go.
Yeah,
This guy's head is just a round circle.
Oh, well,
But he's a suave gentleman guy.
He's really suave.
we'll just cast Jack in the Box and take the crap off his face.
He's
It's
an
Jack in the Box.
excellent host.
How does he talk?
He's all suave.
Yeah, he's like,
an excellent host.
Hello,
He has a
I'm
very high vocabulary.
I'm a very
Yes.
suave guy because
He's
this
just
this
all
is how you would talk if he didn't have a he has no mouth. So if he's talking from inside that's how I would talk. I am Doc Scratch.
People cosplay him.
What? What do you mean people
Look it up.
cosplay?
Look it up.
Look it up, look it up.
Cosplay. It's right there. You can click on it. Cosplay.
Doc Scratch cosplay. And it's just a big bubble on your head. It's like people who walk around dressed as that dead mouse guy.
Someone cosplayed Mexican Doc Scratch.
What? Why?
That's a deep fandom thing.
Why? Here's who I would cast as Doc Scratch. The guy from the Bic Pen. You know who that guy
Yes.
is? There, that guy. The Bic Pen logo. We'll make it kind of like, what's that movie with Charlie Sheen?
No.
Food Fight?
The Ikes.
He's the brand, yeah.
God.
All right, anybody else, or we get them all?
Google Alpha Trolls and knock them down in one swoop.
Alpha Trolls?
Yes. There they are.
Which ones?
All 12.
Click on that.
That's the canon images.
We didn't just do all these people?
No,
these
these
are-
are their children, technically.
Oh, okay. So is this Dante Basco?
That's
or-
Dante Basco there, yeah.
So he plays Dante Basco.
That's Damara. She speaks Japanese, and she's completely rude, and everything she says is the dirtiest stuff in the entire comic, but it's okay because you can't read it unless you Google search it. It's all another language.
Well, here's what I would say. I have a type of woman that I like. I prefer black hair. And even me, who has cataloged an entire lifetime of looking at women with black hair, I can't come up with enough celebrities to match this many people. Oh my God, it's all the same. Okay, fine. Samantha Mathis, Winona Ryder, who we already used. There's a million chicks with black hair. Shannon Sossaman. You can Google them and you'll know exactly. They all look the exact same. All the girls I look at look exactly the same. So that's who those would be. Who is this steampunk one with the goggles? Horace?
Yeah, he's a very more not safe for work version of Equius.
Oh my God.
He really likes horses.
And who's the 50s guy?
That's Cronus. He's a troll, but then he discovered human culture, and he discovered he wants to be a human, specifically of the greaser culture.
So okay, so he's a greaser guy.
Yeah. He doesn't light a cigarette because that'd be a perfectly good waste of a cigarette.
All right, well, we have done it, folks. We have cast the Homestuck movie in our own minds. We're going to do a post on Reddit. So if you listen to the episode and you want to join the conversation, what is your Reddit handle?
Become him.
Become Imp will be there to not moderate, but to join in the conversation if you have your own ideas as to who you would cast in the Homestuck movie. This is a conversation that could go on for days because everybody has their own ideas, but you can post pictures there and links and come up with whatever you want. So anything you want to talk about before we sign off for this week's episode?
I think we've covered it all. We'll be at WonderCon.
Yeah, well, we'll have more episodes between now and then. We'll be at WonderCon handing out our brand new Homestuck-themed business cards for 91 Reasons.
All the way to WonderCon. The comic will not have updated once.
Oh, I know. There won't be any updates until after WonderCon.
April 13th.
The week after
The week
WonderCon.
after WonderCon.
Wow, so you got a long ways. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What's the Homestuck survival guide?
I don't know.
Go back and read it again, right?
Read it again. Everyone tries to find other fandoms to tack onto, but as soon as the comic comes back, they forget them all.
Of
When
course.
the Gigapause first hit, the first thing I did was say, all right, everyone on Tumblr's right, Homestuck's ending. I
Yeah.
need to watch some real Tumblr fandoms, like Attack on Titan.
Yeah. Attack on Titan, Danganronpa, Free, those were all giant, and then as soon as Homestuck came back, they just disappeared. No one cared anymore.
I'm just going to say it right now. Halfway through the Attack on Titan, the series was so bad I had to stop watching it. And halfway
I know, it's weird because you flared up with a lot of Attack on Titan. Like, you were going to buy the costume and the
Because
bag.
It's all cool. The stuff in it's cool.
Those-
The storyline's amazing, and the world they set up, and then the actual show is it's unwatchable. It's so boring.
Everything about it is cool, but the show itself.
They
But
set
the
up-
show is supposed to anchor the fandom.
No, I like everything except the actual show. It's
aesthetic's
boring.
cool.
All the characters do is cry, and it's all angsty. Like, just you have giant monsters. Just fight them. Just fight the giant monsters.
That they can't, then it would just be Pacific Rim. You got to have emotional.
But the whole show is just close-ups of the characters' faces, all angsty. That's the whole show.
Well, that's what Adventure Time is. It's a lot of stuff, but really, Adventure Time is about getting embarrassed.
Yeah, it's all they
About
do for
being
do is get
socially awkward.
embarrassed.
Yeah, everything's about every episode is like you take a drink every time somebody gets red cheeked. All right, well, we're going to sign off for this week. We'll have another episode next week. During the pause, we'll have lots to figure out ways to talk about Homestuck.
And I'm going to say right now, please reread the comic during the pause. I did it during the Gigapause, and I do not regret it. It was the best decision I ever made. If you've only read Homestuck the first time you read it and haven't reread it through, during the pause is a great time to catch up and read the whole thing over again.
So go on Reddit and let us know if you read it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Find us on Facebook, 91 Reasons. Check out our other episodes. There are 7 more Homestuck episodes. Where does the 8 go, Luna?
That's Vriska's quirk. She really puts it anywhere when she gets upset, so you can throw it anywhere. The U, maybe, is a good
Okay,
spot.
all
I don't
right.
know. There's no perfect spot.
Just have to find a place to park the 8.
Yeah.
So, thanks for listening. If you want to support the show, like us on Facebook. You can support our Patreon page, patreon.com. Look up 91 Reasons. You can pledge as little as $1 a month. It helps us for the hosting of the episodes on Podomatic. You can listen on Stitcher. You can leave a review for us on iTunes. That's a great way. Costs you nothing but a few minutes of your time to leave us a review on iTunes. We just got a review this week from a Homestuck listener. We really love that. Thank you so much. We'll try to highlight some of the reviews next week. Maybe we can pick up a couple of new Homestucks. So if you go on there and give us a review, we'll mention you next week as a way of saying thanks. You can buy my books on Amazon.com. I am the author of 3 books, The Sixth Key, The Lost Station, and my newest book, The Infinite Backward, all available as a paperback or as a Kindle download for only 99 cents. Each one connects to the other. It's a huge, almost over 1,000-page story about a young girl who gets a summer job at the Magic Castle and learns all these secrets about magicians and history, and it's a little like Raiders of the Lost Ark meets Nancy Drew. It's perfect for early teens on up to adult. It's a great series of books. We'll be selling those physical signed copies at WonderCon. So find us at WonderCon and let us know you're a 91 Reasons listener. It makes it all worthwhile because as we sit here in Riverside recording these episodes, it is crazy to think how many people are listening, right? Like, that's weird, right?
All over the world.
All over the world. And we love to watch the numbers go up and the countries go up. We actually get a global map, and anytime somebody from that country downloads, it lights up. So it's really cool that you're all listening. We hope you're digging it. We hope that you are sitting in your room knowing that Homestuck is a global phenomenon. You are not alone. Go to a convention. Find the Homestuck meetup and find friends that you didn't know that you had because they are out there. We are out there, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're ready to believe you. Wait, that's the Ghostbusters.
I'm happy to meet any listener at the con.
Yes.
I also have business cards.
He also has business cards, which he will sign for you with all his personal Tumblr dashboard information.
I hardly go on my Tumblr.
You're Goop
No.
My Fries, right?
I'm Goop My Fries everywhere.
Gunt My Fries. Gunt my Fries.
The only exception is Steam because I sometimes switch my username to Wallplay.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. We hope you had a great time. I'm Jeff.
I'm Luna.
I'm Austin.
And together we are 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?